Ma cazzo, io sono ancora pallido qua.
Behold, the Copion. Though not particularly prized for its intelligence, what it lacks in brains, it makes up for by being incredibly, well, horny. A commodity highly sought after by hunters and poachers alike. Fortunately, for our Copion, that is, this usually results in a free meal.
Lots of space!
Hanno ucciso il capitano. No, 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 no. No. Stavo buggando stasera.
Why'd you bring this rookie?
Foundation Festival. Tradition. How do I go prone? Which button? Shh, press Z.
No control.
I pressed everything. It's not working.
Get down!
Guys, which button do I press to get up? Which button do I press to get up?
Alt F4.
Bella bro. Riesco a leggere anche la chat.
Ah, riesci?
Sì, sì. Si sente.
Si sente, aspetta un attimo che passo di là. Cosa devo sentire?
La musica tipo.
Il sottofondo del gioco?
Sì, nella live dico. Boh.
Si sente dopo. Cazzo di metallo lo vende.
Written in my arms.
Meet Steve. It's his first day on the job after passing his Atlas operator certification. This is Edwards. After 36 years of a successful cargo foreman career, he's ready to retire. And this is Bob, your everyday hauler. Bob doesn't give a shit. Bob is too busy reading a funny post online.
Written in my heart, I just didn't leave you, baby. I got your skin written in my soul.
Robert Torture Us. No. Si dicono queste cose. Albert. Buona. Tanto sono in lobby. Che aspetto. Un po' di aspetta.
Ed eccoci qua ragazzi, siamo partiti. In realtà siamo partiti da Checkmate per arrivare a Stanton Gateway. Andiamo verso Stanton. Direzione Horizon. Prendiamo un Reclaimer e andiamo a passarci la serata nel chill guardando le ultime, si spera, buone nuove da CIG Cloud Imperium.
Spiererebbe.
C'era una contest di video making a cui non abbiamo partecipato.
Che sarebbe stata carina come cosa.
Sarebbe stata?
Carina come cosa.
Quest'anno il CitizenCon è rappresentato in live direct rispetto a 2 anni fa, quando prima di allora si facevano sempre dirette dal CitizenCon, diciamo fiera, cioè più o meno. Nell'ultimo CitizenCon c'erano, mi pare, 5.000 persone. Sì.
Saranno aumentate adesso, sicuramente.
Sicuramente saranno aumentate. E mancano 15 minuti alla partenza. Vediamo cosa verrà fuori.
Hi there, I'm Scooter Lee Scooter from the beautiful Brio's Breaker Yard on Damer. Now, some people think Brio's is still a rough and tumble kind of place, but that just ain't true, Bo. Brio's is a safe environment with fun for the whole family. And we don't just sell gently used spaceships, we also do ship repairs, ship detailing, ship paints, and even weapon swaps. So when you need your next ship upgrade, you come on down and you tell Scooter sent you. Y'all have a good evening.
Sono sempre belli i video della CIG. Ci mancherebbe anche altro, porca troia. Tutti i soldi che c'hanno. Pensa. Scusa, no, ok. No. Oh merda. Non mi ero accorto. Dai, batti la seconda. No, ok, spara. Dai, portami dentro lo stesso, Fammi passare. Sono andato un po' lungo, ma ok. Mi sta portando dentro. Questo wormhole è una delle cose più belle che hanno fatto ultimamente. Davvero spettacolari, ragazzi. E tra l'altro dicono sia abbastanza curato, per quanto si possa dire così, nel senso che nessuno c'è mai stato dentro un wormhole, però potrebbe essere simile.
Magari sono informazioni riservate, qualcuno c'è stato, però non può dirlo.
Esatto, esatto. Non ce lo dicono.
Won't know I'm here. Silence.
E qua ci viene, ci sale il complotto.
Finish the job. Darkness makes you weak, makes you blind.
Porca troia, guarda che video. Boom.
Ma sei ritornato qua?
Cold breath.
Merda, sono tornato in Pyro.
Sì.
Light comes back. You're already gone.
Eh sì, jump point detected. No, non dirmi che devo cambiare server.
Prova una seconda volta, se non va la seconda.
E ci riprova. Written in my soul. Ricorda sta canzone qua. Madonna. You, baby, I got my faith, your faith, written in my heart. Written you and them, baby. Non so neanche come cazzo siano le parole, però vabbè. Your faith, written in- però era molto bella. Tra l'altro era la canzone che hanno usato come colonna sonora per Fuori di 60 secondi, un film con Nicolas Cage,
Gli Sbronzoid.
molto figo, che era un ladro di macchine, ormai scoraggiato dal fatto che sarebbe andato in galera, però si ritrova con suo fratello che seguiva la sua strada e si mette nella merda, e dopo alla fine lui va per aiutarlo, e gli dicono: guarda, se rivuoi tuo fratello devi rubarmi queste macchine, una serie di... una lista di macchine che doveva rubare in non mi ricordo quante ore, tipo. Ed era molto figo, devo dire, quel film. Cos'è? No. Oddio, mi sto schiantando per guardare il video. E sono a Stanton. Let's go. Ok, buona la seconda, ragazzi. Mi ha portato di là, nonostante abbia veramente sbattuto contro il wormhole di brutto. Bene, facciamo un po' di benza.
Ti vedo. Anche
Sì, adesso arrivo verso Horizon, così vado a prendere il reclaimer. 923 di Quantum Fuel. Ci arrivo?
Hai 38,
Sì,
33
dai.
giga.
Sì, ce la faccio. Ma vaffanculo. Adesso tra poco mi schianto, lo so. No, invece no. Dai, parti, parti, parti. Non sto guardando avanti. Ok, salvo. I got your face written in my eye. Written on your deadly face. Fucking sweetie Asian and Grifford Beaches. Che ha scritto uno in chat. Ah, comunque un'altra roba di cui forse parlano è anche la moderazione della chat globale.
Cioè che non si può usare più un linguaggio scurrile.
No, che introdurranno una sorta di moderazione, però non lo so se è così, perché ho letto, cioè stava parlando un tale, però boh, non so se sia.
Quel tale ha.
No.
Guarda che cazzo è quella cosa là?
No.
Bellissimo. No, che cazzo gli è arrivato? Che bello.
Bellissimo sto video.
Che lo prova a struccare. Tic 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 tic.
Tic 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 tic, giù, risucchiato dall'ascensore. Ci sono i video quelli della community di chi ha partecipato al contest in teoria.
Grandiosi.
Bellissimo quello, veramente alla Peratunes tipo.
Un video di 30 secondi, la cazzara proprio, sono stupendo.
Col fleet manager con scritte tipo a mode The Simpson.
Quello che sta arrivando 3 GM.
People deserve your racism. Che ha scritto. Persone merita il tuo razzismo. Why do you think bad people are Asian in question? Donbass, I'm also Asian. Un altro che ha scritto Some of my best friend are black. Sì, vabbè, vaffanculo, i soliti che dicono per pararsi il culo, ma anche mio amico anche io sono pieno di amici neri. Vabbè. Dove cazzo stiamo andando? Al Wichello Emporium.
Ci sta.
Già era il posto giusto, proprio dove andare. Era il posto giusto, eccolo là, marchetto. Poi un altro.
Chi è sto qua?
questi qui a casa. Ah, lo lancia dentro il cestino. No. Si suicida adesso. No. Che mongoli. Mongoloide. Sito tutto mongoloide.
C'è ben pieno. What?
2 minuti all'apertura del CitizenCon, raga.
2 minuti, siamo spiacenti per problemi di...
Siamo spiacenti?
per problemi tecnici l'evento verrà rinviato.
Annullato. Vabbè, casi sui, basta che ne tira fuori le navi molto presto.
Liberate la Perseus.
Liberate la Perseus.
Ma su Twitch vedo un po' di gente che sta streamando Star Citizen stasera.
Immagino che sbordo.
Prezzo qua, su 31.000 persone.
Dio che... $31.000, Dio.
Cioè,
Sono i numeri della gente che porta Minecraft.
esatto. Tranquillamente.
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun.
This year has marked a turning point in Star Citizen's
Eccolo qua,
We have finally moved
Robertino.
past the question of whether
Ciao,
we could build an
Robertino.
architecture to deliver a universe with incredible detail at massive scale, seamlessly and where thousands of people can all play together. Server meshing has been working pretty much flawlessly at scale for the past 9 months. It has brought a more populated and active verse with up to 700 players online and in the same space at once. It's greatly increased server performance and delivered a much more responsive player experience. I couldn't be prouder of the team. They delivered something no other online game does presently. There may be other games out there that claim large player counts, or even the ability to mesh, but none do it at our detail, scale, and seamlessness. Of course, there will be continued improvements to server meshing and to Star Engine, but having moved past this last big
Robertino, fai le
technological
cose fatte per
hurdle has
bene.
allowed us to finally
Se no ti
focus on quality
sputo.
of life and stability
Puh,
improvements,
così.
something that has long been overdue.
Telecamere.
We're about to deliver our ninth
Telecamere.
patch in 10 months, with content that has brought Star Citizen
Come gli
storytelling in new
zingari.
and exciting directions. We pushed more than 24 features and more than
lavoro.
2,000 bug
Nostro
fixes. While
lavoro.
there is still a long way
Noi
to go,
dobbiamo.
the game has gotten more stable, performant, and fun as a result.
Siamo
We
la
see this in
Cloud
player
Imperium,
metrics.
noi
More of you play every
dobbiamo
day.
il
The
nostro
daily average
lavoro.
users is up 45% from last year, and your play time is up 15%. So more people venture out into the verse and stay there longer than ever before. And through all that, we've told the dual stories of the Frontier Fighters Assault on Pyro, and the moral compromises being made to combat the regen crisis.
La nave
Now,
granchie.
as those stories come to a rest for the time being, it's time to look forward to the next chapter of Star Citizen, where the instability in Pyro and the callous actions of some pave the way to new adventures, new locations, and new threats. Last year, we announced our next Star Citizen would be Nyx, home to the People's Alliance of Levski and bordering the Vandal threat. Today, we're proud to share that your adventures in Nyx begin not next year, but next month, when Star Citizen's third system comes online in Alpha 4.4. 2 new systems in 1 year. That's only possible because of the tireless work of our development teams, server meshing accelerating what's possible, the support teams behind the scenes, and most importantly, all of you. Now, I do miss that we're not
Un
all
uomo
together under one
paffuto a
roof this year.
forma di
But in many
noce.
ways, we're more connected than ever. Across the globe, many of you are gathering at watch parties,
In effetti
9 of them
pare un
with our
fiano
developers in
nosa,
attendance, and countless others springing up in communities everywhere, and all happening simultaneously. So even if we're separated by oceans and continents, we're bound together by the same passion for space, for discovery, and for this incredible universe we're building together. Whether you're at home or alongside your crew at a watch party, grab a drink, sit back, and let us take you inside our up-and-coming
Grab a
plans
drink,
for next year's Star Citizen.
ok, grabbiamo un drink, ragazzi. Cos'è questo? Aspetta che non sento un cazzo che mi sta distruggendo le orecchie. Robertino. Robertino. Fai un po' il contegnoso, Non distruggermi le orecchie.
CitizenCon
Direct. For your pleasure.
EA Games.
Ok, dove sei? Tu in volo? Sì,
Cioè,
di 3
sono io.
km, ok, è zero di aspettarti qua.
With the foundational technology
Ora toemo a cosa?
is no longer
L'Atlas o no?
allowing us to forge ahead
Per spostare i
building out
container.
our first 5 star systems.
No?
Nyx will see the much loved Levski landing zone.
Vabbè, allora lo lascio qua.
A parte che sì, ti può anche salvare.
One of its
Perché,
most iconic
oddio, dopo tanto dobbiamo venire a scaricare qua dopo.
Sì,
You'll experience
Ora
a
ti
new
può salvare anche
combined
direttamente in
arms
hangar.
operation
passo qua,
that will
dai.
introduce new factions and
Andiamo
new adventures
sulla
for
Blair
you to
Witch.
discover.
La strega
With
di
this
Blair.
edition of our third star system, we're
La
also
mitica
going to do
Blair.
something that's at the heart of the entire
Non è più
star system
mica,
experience,
no.
and that is to build it right in front of you. As we have done this year, with the addition of several
aspetta
major
così.
locations, such as the
12
Hathor
per-
facility
adesso.
or
È
the
aggressivo.
Lazarus complex.
Adesso è tanto più
Continue
figa.
to
che
unveil
storia.
new Nyx content throughout the year. It's a
Fanculo le
slightly
skin
different approach
del-
to how we deliver Pyro.
dello IAE,
But
là,
we feel
cos'era?
this gets the content into your hands sooner and shows our intent
Yeah,
as we
mail.
continue
Best
our
in
march
show de
towards
merda.
1.0. I'm so
Shit in
incredibly
show.
proud of the work our teams have done and are continuing to do, and we're excited to have you on this next step of our journey. And as with any journey in Star Citizen, that begins with a little story.
Amico, un tractor beam Swift. A proposito.
In 2025, we introduced 2 major storylines spanning multiple patches, creating a living backbone for adventure across the universe. The first was Pyro Must Burn. It connected Stanton to Pyro and introduced the Frontier Fighters, who are relentless, brutal, and determined to wipe out any threats that cross them. And with this month's release, you'll now take part in the conclusion to that storyline. The second was Science Run Amok, with the regen crisis throwing the Empire into chaos.
Cosa?
All jumping in
Quello
to
creato
help the
dal
various corporations respond. Through that journey, we pulled back the curtain on
Il
ASA
tractor.
and its shady practices.
Sì, il piccolo, sì.
Facilities and met new characters like Dr. Logan Yorin and Detective Arthur Mellon of the Hokro Agency. And just like the Pyro Must Burn storyline carried us into a new system, Science Run Amok is now setting the stage for Nyx, the next step in the larger story we're telling on the road to 1.0.
Eccola.
As this new chapter of Star Citizen begins, let's hear from just a few of the team members working to bring this next era of our universe to life.
Gusto ship.
When the Nix system was first discovered, the United Empire of the EU came out and did scans and kind of found out that the system wasn't really resettling. The planets were too hard to terraform, the resources were too tough to get, so they opened it up. And one company saw opportunity where the UE didn't, QV Planet Services. And so they expanded into the system and tried to mine as much as they could.
Usciamo fuori e giusto andiamo. Anzi qua.
Qua sopra proprio.
The system itself sort of ran its course from sort of a large corporate interest.
Allora aspetta. Coupled, pilota automatico, cruise control e via. Ecco, adesso ci rilassiamo un attimo finché usciamo dall'atmosfera.
Scortato dalle Connie.
Sì.
So they went to the Nix system and established what became known as Levski. They wanted to make it everything that the UEE wasn't at this time.
They set up what they saw as their ideal society, where everyone's voices would be heard, where everyone would be equal. But they've fallen onto hard times. So Nix today is kind of at an interesting point in its history. Now that the UEE has kind of transformed itself into a democratic society, what is their role? What are the People's Alliance rebelling against? And they still see the Empire as being inherently unfair. They see their role as still trying to create a free and fair society. But on the other hand, they have more problems than ever, and there's new threats lurking around every corner. And they have to ask, are they prepared to handle that? Or do they need to turn to the UEE for help?
Making a star system is you approach it from kind of two angles in a weird way. What is this system bringing to the gallery? How does this new system plug into it, and what does it bring to the table from a sort of a flavor experience? We want to make sure that whatever it's bringing to the company is unique and has some flair to it.
So the Nix system is a remote system where people want to go and live free outside of the pressure and influence of the UEE. It's a remote and rugged system with a lot of hostility coming from the ever-present threat of Vandal.
It's kind of like a frontier-esque thing. It's not lawless like Pyro, it's just kind of out there. Pyro's more like a Mad Max wasteland, and Nix is more like Silverado or like Deadwood, right? It's kind of like a smaller scope.
The emptiness and the loneliness is the defining factor. You're still going to find gangs, you're still going to find hostile presences, but it's where people go if they want to live off the grid.
The People's Alliance is the main peacekeeping force in Nix.
They were unhappy with the direction that the Empire was going under the Messers. They got out. They said, we're just going to start from scratch, build our own society, but build it the way that we think it needs to be
Capitano ci ha
built.
abbandonato. Ci troviamo a Serafin.
But they're doing their best. They want to help keep Nix safe and make it prosper.
They are trying to do the best that they can, but are faced with the realities of dealing with people, which is tricky.
The Pyrostar is quite a warm star. Stanton star is quite neutral. And the Nix is a little bit cooler.
Oh, Nix.
The system has its star, and it has this dark, really dense gas, sort of nebulous cloud.
Allora,
and it has points
leviamo
of
il cruise
light
control.
scattered around it,
Aspetta un
and
attimo,
those
devo
points
vedermi
of
sta
light
roba.
in this gas cloud
Di
is
Nix.
really hazy.
Allora,
So because
qualità
Nix is bordering Vandal space
1080.
in the Nix gas cloud, where you could sort of just in between the clouds see a piece of the Vandal space. It feels so close that it's even like protruding some red light.
No, ma io l'ho messo sullo schermo sotto, porco dio.
The level designers are using it as an actual visual indicator of where to place more dangerous POIs. So if you point your ship in the direction of it, you should find, as we build it out, that you will be in more and more danger. And I think that's really cool. To give more atmosphere, I was testing out adding some sort of space snowflakes, essentially. So when you look towards the sun, you can sort of see that sort of like sparkle. But then when you look away from the sun, you'll see the reflections and sort of like little glints of light. For the jump points in Nyx, we'll have 2 on this release. We'll have one from Pyro to Nyx and one from Stanton to Nyx. It should be going from Nyx to Castra, but we're essentially bypassing Castra
Dove cazzo zero di
temporarily.
andarmi?
Hey, we want to make sure you can get there.
Sei appena
any way you
arrivato alla
want.
Serafin.
Eh?
Sei appena arrivato alla
Glacian
Serafin.
Belt is a huge asteroid belt that
Sì, ma stavo andando bello
is in
distante
sort of
già.
the middle of the system.
Ah, perché sei in capo.
Glacian Belt is a combination of a bunch of technologies.
Sì, ero in capovolto, infatti non ho capito perché non si sia fermato.
And it's combining them to make something completely new that we've just not seen before.
It's full of
No, ma non stava
resources
rallentando
that are
proprio.
still left unharvested because it's kind of a tricky spot for mining.
Ah,
It's
vabbè,
not
dai, non
the
sono
easiest place to
distantissimi.
go. But that means that there's still a lot of opportunity for independent miners to go out there.
So the rocks in Nyx
Yeah, infatti.
are more sharp, like sorts of like icy look, rocky, cliff-like, very different from those in the Pyro and the Stanton.
One of the big differences too is all of that extra added movement that just adds a little bit of extra flair.
It's also a good hiding spot for people who are trying to elude capture, maybe set up ambushes, that type of stuff.
Aspetta un
You
attimo.
always feel way more interesting flying in those spaces than just
Roba.
empty void.
And as we build out the Glacian Belt over the next year, lots of places to put new content.
Delamar is a very large asteroid in the Glacian Belt that QV Planet Services had built a mining base on that got taken over by the People's Alliance and renamed Levski.
Aspetta un attimo, che faccio? Ah, cazzo, ma io non lo posso modificare.
Levski is our first and biggest social outpost for Nyx.
It's kind of like the place where you stop before you do your panning. So it's kind of a San Francisco before you go out to the gold rush.
Ok.
It's going to be the central hub for trade and hauling and all of the commerce within Nyx and also from Nyx to other systems. But it does have a CD underlayer to it.
L'hai messo a schermo intero?
Sì, volevo
Your sorts of
fare un'altra roba,
the
in realtà.
generation method of those
Allora,
asteroids
schermo
to
sopra,
culminate
ok.
towards this
Schermo
zero
sotto,
point
volevo mettere lo
to make
schermo sopra.
large,
Allora, qua.
explorable location. When you
Ok,
fly
così.
towards the Levski, you see this huge gas ring around
Boom.
it, scattered small, mid-sized pieces of the asteroids.
Well, Levski is immediately apparently unique by the fact that it's a facility clamped onto the side of an asteroid. The breathtaking views of looking into the belt instantly gives it a unique charm and flavor.
As you approach,
Guarda Levski, che bello.
you'll initially see a very dramatic borehole that goes all the way through the asteroid. You will also see, growing out from there and alongside Levski, there will be landing pads along what I'd call the spine. Lots of industrial pipes and transport systems to bring out the refined mining materials when it was a mining station.
Yeah, Tellin.
Before we were using an
mi sono
actual planet,
frenato
so we
prima
had
di
all of the
Selling,
space
devi-
available to
devi zampare su
place
me.
all of these structures.
Mica trova una nave.
That we had to create
No,
an asteroid which
sono io la
was the
nave che
appropriate
scappare.
size to
Ah, così dicevi te la porti
We
via.
took the whole shot
Ah,
of the asteroid.
ok.
You see that there's
Non
an
avevo
area to fly
capito.
underneath. We plan on bringing in Hull C gameplay. So this is exterior cargo elevators. So as a team, you will be able to
Sì,
load
scappiamo una
and
C2,
unload
dopo una
cargo.
volta che abbiamo finito si richiama,
There's a lot more
si
movement
prende,
in
Sì,
the
sì.
exterior,
Esatto.
such as the cargo trains
Così,
going
easy
around
peasy.
tracks. It's
Sì,
now
sì.
going to be fully EVA-able.
Scrap
There will be
semplice.
walkways around the main landing zone to walk on using gravity plates, but you can drift off and kind of go wherever you want. They can explore fully the whole place, which is great.
Unlike the majority of anarchists living in Pyro, there are people here in Nyx that care.
It's not a downtrodden or derelict, dilapidated location. It has a sense of order.
But only where the People's Alliance has people living.
But we've had Levski before, and we've updated it quite substantially to be more in line with the newer features that have been put in since, but also visually. And there's been a lot of quality of life fixes that we've wanted to add and bring up to like a good standard for a landing zone.
Gracing the main lobby of Levski is a large statue of
fermo pure se vuoi.
who was a child worker.
And was being worked to death.
Sì, mi
All of them
messi,
were.
stiamo io.
And Anthony Tanaka just had a break and just said no, and stood up against the foreman, the supervisors, the
Tutti via a
managers,
bordo,
the
fermo in do.
guards, and was killed for it. And so he became a sort of a
Oh
figurehead.
no?
And kind of was one of the linchpin moments in seeing the fall of the Messer regime.
So if you take the elevator up to the top deck, you'll see the top view and the cargo area as well. So you can go through the cargo shop. You've got your normal kind of cargo needs. You'll have ability to trade and buy your tractor beam and other gear that you need. So if you were to die in the Nyx system, then one of the places you might come out from is the hospital in Levski, which is called the Mercy Hospital.
So Mercy Hospital is just basically, it's a local med station for all the residents of Levski. Anybody traveling through the system, again, they're trying to provide as good medical help for people as they can.
Mercy
When
Hospital.
you arrive at the
Hope
house location,
it's
you'll be presented
Levski.
with a lobby, elevator bank, and then you will take that transit to the
Guarda il
hat room.
sorgetto. Topo.
So within that room will be pods.
And that's where
Si mangia.
the original miners would have
Sì,
lived.
sì. Lui
They're not the
mangiare
nicest,
topo.
And they're a bit messy, but
Noi
they're a
piacere
home.
mangiare topo.
If you head down to the lower view deck, you'll go through into the Grand Barter, which is your main social and commercial area of Levski.
This is where you will see market sellers selling their wares. There will be stalls. There will be kind of more embedded shops.
And that includes things like Corderies, which is your armor shop, and also conscientious objects, which is for weapons. There's also one of my favorite places, Cafe Musée, which is where you can go down into some of the more rocky depths and grab yourself a drink, and you never know who you meet down there. If you explore a bit more around the Grand Barter, there's other routes around and little side passages. There's another shop that's away from that area called Teachers.
Teach a Ship Shop is basically where you would go if you were looking to pick up a used ship, buy some ship parts, fix up your old ship, find some new stuff, sell some scrap.
We've closed up Dumpers Depot for Levski, and everything that used to be sold there will now be sold at Teachers. Another new area, as well as the cargo shop that we've added, is the refinery deck for Levski. That's where you can take your processed goods
Avrà la raffineria
from the
Levski.
rest of the Nyx system and refine and sell those goods there. As a lot of the content in the next coming releases for Nyx is going to be mining related. So it's super important that Levski is a really nice hub for mining type of gameplay.
Ok, un buon hub per il mining.
So we're really happy to bring Levski back into the game. It's been gone for quite a few years now.
I think it really provided a unique environment of it's run down, but the people who live there love it and are working their hardest to make it a great place to live.
This is a location that has a lot of nostalgia for you guys, and we don't want this just to be a re-release. We do want you to go, wow.
It's not going to be as complete as Pyro was when it first came out, but it's going to be our first iteration, and you're going to be able to see it grow as we work on it.
Like with everything, we're always learning and improving and finding new ways.
C'è-
I mean, is there anything more Star Citizen than just building the
Che
system while
sbaglio,
the players
yeah.
watch us build it around them?
It's going to add a nice dynamic
Sì, ma ti affai indosso tutti anni ora.
Be a much more calming of, style system than Pyro.
The people that would have played it before are going to love to see this come back, and the people that haven't seen it before, it's going to be a great new location.
This is the first time that I'm going to be able to touch stuff and kind of bring my own content to the game, and that's really exciting to me.
Levski coming back into the game is a huge milestone personally for me. So I worked on the original quite some time ago, so seeing it come back and updated and improved and better is fantastic.
È nuda.
So we've talked about Levski, we've talked about Glazing Belt, but you're probably asking yourself, what's the new gameplay activity we're going to be doing? So let's find out.
Welcome to Nyx is your first experience in a new space station in a new solar system.
It's a mystery to be solved. There's things for the player to explore and look into. There's going to be some twists and turns, of course some combat, and if you're lucky enough to survive, maybe some good rewards.
This is basically a continuation
16 più 16, più o meno, no, 16 più qualcosa meno all'altra parte.
Storyline, we had revealed that ASD had been procuring sort of very black market illegal stuff in order to conduct their experiments. So this mission is basically going to be continuing on that trail.
So the Navy has learned that illegal tech is being sold in the UAE, and they're hiring Intersect to investigate. Intersect Defense Solutions is the leading military defense contractor in the UAE. So the Navy contracts with them a lot for doing various kind of military operations that they don't want to handle themselves. We didn't want players to be working directly for the Navy. The Navy just doesn't call up random citizens and ask like, hey, if you're free, can you fly a helicopter? I guess as a player, when you can think about like, oh, where am I going to be doing missions that are capital ship battles or large fleet scale stuff or military operations, that's all going to come from Intersect Defense Solutions. Intersect have discovered the source of the illegal tech.
Dimmi quando siamo più o meno a 60 metri.
An old abandoned QV Planet Services logistics station that's come out online.
So they want the players to figure out what's going on.
So when you come out of Quantum and you start your approach vector to the objective, you'll be weaving through asteroids, going through the Glazing Belt, and slowly the station will reveal itself. Now this is an old QV logistics station. It's pretty beat up, it's pretty derelict, but there's some points of interest that you'll spot as you go through. So the station itself shares design cues from old Pan Am stations found in Pyro. This architectural design found its way over to the Nyx system as the system was being established. But you'll also see some additional design cues that QV planetary services were adding, so it's a nice transition architectural point. It's fairly skeletal in design. You'll see logistics yards and cargo yards, but also facilities pinned inside the asteroid, creating this network of facilities. You'll notice there's a Polaris near the main hub. It's not a normal Polaris. It's damaged, it's broken. It's not a standard corporate Polaris. So at this point, you should be asking yourself, who does this belong to? Away from the Polaris, you'll see struts leading to asteroid bases. Now these asteroid bases are locked, so you don't know exactly what's inside just yet. But all of this comes together to form the playground for the mission to take place. So not only is this facility unabandoned, but it's also under attack from a surprising but familiar foe.
First time in the PU, the Vandal.
I Vandal. Ti attaccano i Vandal, bellissimo.
Are a nomadic, very
Gli alieni.
spacefaring race.
They've been striking out against outposts and such in the Nyx system. They don't really know what they want, don't know why they're doing it, but it seems like whoever's running the station is really pissed them off.
Vandal raiding parties have been arriving in the system, and they're unaffiliated to any clan. The small groups coming in and picking at them. But as time goes on, those raids are getting bigger and more frequent.
They'll be the scythes that you're familiar with, glaives and blades that we all know and hate, and a new craft for the PU, the Vandal Stinger.
You will be contacted by some civilians on arrival asking you for help.
So at this point, you have a choice. You can either bug out, mission over, or join the fight. This will be the first time since the PU launched that you'll be able to fight against Vandal aggressor ships.
This fight will be intense. The player should be able to deal with them, but they will have to be prepared and they'll have to come back in to fight off this initial wave, and that won't be the end of it.
25, sì.
Yeah.
After you fight off the Vandal ships, the mysterious inhabitants of the station invite you to come on board.
Which Intersect sort of will encourage you to do because it'll help further their investigation against what's happening here, why this QB station.
Allora adesso bisogna svuotare il filler e ora mi vado a svuotare il filler che posiziona la nave. Vediamo. Senti, te senti sul quest'altro.
Of course, it's not going to be easy because the people that are inhabiting the station are going to fight you every step of the way.
The fight will be challenging, but this definitely will be the warm-up phase of this mission. This will be the players getting a sense of what exactly is going on here, who these new people are. They'll be in unfamiliar armor. They'll be wielding unfamiliar weapons. And we want you to get a sense that you are in a new place, in a new territory, fighting a new faction.
So after you survive this initial ambush, you get back in touch with Intersect, and obviously the question is, who are these people? Why are they attacking? Why are the Vandal attacking them?
At this point, there's more going on here than anyone thought. The directive from Intersect is to explore the station and collect as much information as you possibly can.
Along the way, you're going to get to explore some new areas.
It's not just the space station. There's the disabled capital ship. There's asteroid bases nearby with obvious installations there, other forces that the Vandal have been attacking. There's a debris field.
Explore the locations in any order you want and try to find out who these people are and why the Vandal are after them.
You'll find new clues. You'll find ways to solve the puzzle of what's going on at the space station and find out what kind of loot they have for you now that you've beat them.
And of course, this is
io ho appena iniziato a svuotare il filler.
Anything you find is yours to keep and sell, maybe even give to Whitwell.
Ti dovresti farlo con il tasto centrale del OTAS destro.
You can go back and repeat this mission and find ways to do it even better, even faster.
There'll be a different story and different flavor. Obviously, you can't have the same thing happen every time. There'll be other missions that Intersect will offer to you based on the evidence that you found.
Now you know the real story, and you can start digging and giving more information to Intersect along the way.
Ma vento. Perché il braccio viene fuori e poi va dentro la notte?
Perché ti ha a tenerlo premo una volta e dopo
I'm
basta.
super excited to finally see the Vandal in the PU.
I'm excited to bring cool Vandal ship combat to SC.
Players in the PU will now get a face down these awesome ships and get a taste of like we already have it in Arena Commander where you get to fight the Vandal swarm, and being able to do that in the PU is going to be, I think, a heck of a lot of fun.
Ah, tipo raid.
So this marks a great milestone for us for not only pushing hard and adding great content this year, we're also being able to introduce the next star system and introducing the next landscape to tell new stories and add new gameplay beats into the ever-expanding universe. So we'll leave 4.4 there. If you're at one of the watch parties, please raise a toast to the great work that all the teams have been doing this year. And I'll be right back in just a few minutes to look ahead at some of the things coming in 2026.
Hello, everyone!
And welcome to the Voyager Bar in beautiful scenic Orizon, where the staff of Cloud Imperium Games Manchester is gathered for their very own
Che
CitizenCon
figo, il
Direct watch
Voyager Bar,
party.
tipo...
As the dozens of such events happening at locations around the world, we've gathered today to watch this sneak peek at just a little of what the next year of Star Citizen has in store for everyone.
I don't know.
Oh, that was really good, everybody. I'm Jared Huckabee, your host for the festivities and for the show today. And let me tell you, it's not a joke. It's not a gag. Next week, we're hitting our 9th patch in 10 months. And then in November, we're going to finish out the year strong with the long-awaited arrival of the Nix system. And in case you missed it because you were chatting with friends, hi. It's not the lawless wasteland of Pyro many folks have been speculating, but an independent system with its own set of rules and laws and multiple ways to get there. It's an exciting time for everyone at Cloud Imperium Games because, as the architects of our persistent universe said at the start of the show, the foundational tech that we've been building for so many years has now unlocked us to bring more to Star Citizen than ever before as we continue our journey towards 1.0.
Vai.
Now, before we continue with the show, let's get a few housekeeping tasks out of the way. First, we're simulcast on YouTube and Twitch. So if you want the keen communities of Twitch or the 4K ultra high resolution of YouTube, you have your choice. Second, throughout the broadcast today, we want to see and hear what you have to say along the way, and you can tell us on social media by using hashtag CitizenCon. We're especially interested to see any photos from those watch parties that are happening across the globe, and we're going to find some way to bring a few of them into the broadcast later in the program. Third, we've also had a CitizenCon contest going for people to create their very own slice of life in the PU videos, and we played the winning entries during our pre-show countdown. The offerings were super varied. The idea was to work with a team to show the life of a miner or a hauler or a bounty hunter or whatever. But one guy just said, I'm going to make a video about how awesome I am.
Ma sei in frattura o in...
So shout out Nocturnal Revenant. I don't remember if you were one of the winners getting an L21 Wolf from Kruger for their efforts, but you won the coveted Disco Lando Complete Narcissist Award. Good job. And to all the winners, I'm sure someone will either be in touch with you about your wolves or they'll just show up on your accounts. I really don't know how that process works. Probably would have been good to find out before the show, huh? He's so afraid. Either way, if you missed the pre-show and are curious if you won, you can check the replay after we're done here today. All right. I just realized that my bosses, Chris and Sandy, are sitting in a movie theater watch party in Switzerland right now. A completely captive audience. So real behind the scenes here. This is especially torturous for Chris right now because he's super excited about the next segment we've got coming up. Aren't you, Chris? And you're just sat there right now, forced to watch and listen to anything I say. Do either of you regret that decision so long ago? All right, so I've probably pushed my luck enough. Let's get to the next thing. When Nix arrives next month, it'll have Levski, the Glacium Belt, and the new Welcome to Nix operation we just discussed. But throughout 2026, we'll also continue to build the Star System out with new features and new technologies that will not only set Nix apart and give it a unique identity from its sibling Star Systems, but continue to set Star Citizen apart from other video games altogether. Now at this point, if you're running one of the watch parties, you're going to want to crank your speakers up for some brand new
E non parte l'animazione.
Sì, vedo che fa quelle le onde sulle cose.
Sì, ma ci deve essere una percentuale che un cerchio che si chiude.
No, non c'è quello infatti. Non siamo troppo lontani, troppo vicini.
No, non credo. Forse è questione di energia.
The best technology, and through the development of that technology, it pushes us to create even better art. When Genesis comes to the persistent universe starting next year, it will change how you experience every world, and not just in the building of the new planets for the Nix system. We will also go back through Stanton and Pyro and reimagine them through the lens of our technology. Previously, and more traditionally, we'd create slices of biomes, like deserts or forests. This approach moved us forwards and got us far, but solving the scale was always tricky. And for Star Citizen, we like to do scale on another level. Issues like seeing tiling from our height maps from high altitude, or the unpredictable blending when two biomes connected.
No, prima ti...
Common. But ultimately,
Sì.
things just never felt right. Our worlds
Fracture
were gorgeous,
field, giusto.
but to us, they still sometimes felt like interpretations.
Power
Now,
on,
this was a
mi
super
dice.
hard problem, which we needed to solve at the scale Star Citizen requires. We challenged
Provo a avvicinarmi un po'
ourselves
ancora.
to
Ma
emulate
siamo
nature
belli vicini.
in the most believable way,
Provo a notarti.
and not just on a planetary scale, but to our level of detail.
Provo a avvicinarmi ancora.
No. Prova a allontanarti, secondo
With
me.
Genesis,
Forse
we've
sei
made
troppo
a
vicino.
complete
No, non sono troppo
to
vicino.
how we do things. Biomes are now created based on the physical data sets, with the assets
Ma
being
devo farlo
stored
partire con
whenever and
il tasto
wherever
quello per sparare, giusto?
correct criteria
Sì.
is found.
Va. Prova te.
So when you see a forest or a meadow,
Ma sta partendo perché vedo le ondine che vengono fuori.
painstakingly crafted it there. It's now because it simply
Tanto
wants to
bevo.
be there.
Ah cazzo, non ho neanche da bere. Tu hai da bere?
Sì.
Esporo, non voglio neanche una crux.
Ties into our other gameplay systems. Our new planets are built from the information we create for our different datasets, like height maps, humidity, temperature, soil types,
Qua per terra.
geology erosion data.
Per terra hanno evaso.
This means
Non
you
mi
can
sto
now
leggendo
tell
qua.
where to find valuable
Se da Drio.
Se no te puso non così un coso.
No, qua di solito rimangono qua. Su sto pavimento qua. Però non sulle griglie, proprio qua.
over time due to erosion.
Aspetta che no.
Of course, these new tools still give us the ability to direct the look and feel we want. The attention to detail from the tallest mountain to the smallest flower is still our core DNA.
Aspetta, com'era?
With
Così.
Genesis, we can now keep that
Così.
detail-orientated mindset as we
No.
focus on the quality,
Sì.
and it provides the quantity.
Drop.
Genesis
Place.
provides our planets with the ultimate sense of exploration
Scusa qua.
and adventure, discovery in
Una.
the purest emotional form.
No.
We want you to find that
Devo
perfect
tirare fuori una
place,
granata.
with the planets providing an abundant resource to harvest. This is a major part of what exploration is for us.
Ah, Genesis si chiama sto pianeta nuovo.
That you'll fall in love with, and where you want to settle down and build your home.
Ok, ti nega altri dopo.
Now I'm going to hand you over to Will.
Oh, le veste al water, però vabbè.
No, vabbè, te li ridago in ridò, tanto.
Beh, 80% dopo una volta che...
Place.
Will evolve,
Una.
change as we continue our technological
Dopo
development
questa.
and hone in on the final look for Nyx.
Tanto se devo andare da Dio. Quale?
Quella che ti hai preso adesso.
Ah, ok.
In case it's not already clear,
Che a fare i
Genesis is
cosi.
our name for a
Te
group
devo
of
fare i
technologies that
misiotti.
are
Che
improving
LT
your
dopo casomai
ability to
se...
build worlds, refining those that we've already
Cazzo,
created,
scomparsa.
and ultimately expanding our persistent universe to the scale and quality that we all expect.
non la vedo più
I work
adesso.
on Planet Tech, so let's talk about how that's
Ah no,
continued
era
to
qua,
evolve
avevo in mano.
since our
Quello
presentation.
che non si vedeva, ok.
And instead of just highlighting some really cool biomes that we can create, let's go ahead
Ok,
and
drink.
show how all this work applies to the upcoming planets of Nyx. So there are 3 planets in Nyx. Nyx
3
3
pianeti
is
su Nyx
a
ci
gas
sono.
giant, and I think it's blue. It's not going to surface. I don't really know.
Uno blu.
Nyx 2 is a yellow, toxic. It's got like this high pressure atmosphere, and it's like a very volatile planet with high risk reward gameplay. It's going to have some really interesting biomes for you to discover, but for now, just know it's going to be dangerous, because today we're going to focus on what we consider to be the hero planet of this system. Nyx 1 has got a rugged, remote beauty. It's got a diverse set of biomes, from weathered rocky mountain ranges to vast sweeping
Wow, guarda che roba, è stupendo,
damp,
Fioi.
expansive wetlands to claustrophobic festering swamps.
Bellissime le
These
mangrovie.
combined concepts give us a fantastic platform to hone our technology. In some cases, because the current tech couldn't do them at all, or because we want to completely step up our game for them.
Si possa anche andare in mezzo a quel posto.
Sì, si può.
Let's approach this planet in much the same way that you, the player, will, from orbit. The orbit appearance of the planets going forward is far more tied to what is present on the surface. Previously, we had different data that drove ground coloring. That's because the orbit was designed to look like vegetation that we placed on the surface, and the ground coloring was trying to be a mix of soil, rock, and the organic compound coloring that forms the kind of colors there. Now we author much more of the data in a unified way.
Power on, bisogna spegnerla. La tua è power on.
Quello che fuori la nave.
O la distruggiamo.
Ma rischiamo di fare gli effetti.
Ah no, in realtà no.
Qua c'era un'uscita direttamente.
Sì, ma non ha senso, la distruggiamo.
This
Sì,
creates
sì.
a far more complete image and allows you to identify features, geologies, and potential points of interest all the way from space. Let's go down to the surface and start with something closer to what you're used to, but in a whole new light.
Ok. Adesso in soft death. Aspetta, devo avvicinarmi ancora. Vai, siediti pure tu intanto. Wow, guarda che razza di paesaggio, fioi.
Looking at our contemporaries, we lacked detail at the ground scale. To combat this, we've added a new layer of data. That layer is called the medium tiles. These are intelligently placed on top of the existing 4-kilometer terrain tiles based on slope, soil type, and other erosion data. And these medium tiles don't just create height changes, they also bring in local erosion data both for soil and bedrock size values.
Bedrocks.
And this gives us a whole new level of terrain detail, of scale, and allows us to create far more unique locations across the planet. So now that we've nailed the surface, let's have a look at adding some rocks.
Che figo. Cioè, fioi.
To the rock content of our planet.
Guarda che posto.
Long desired feature, cliffs. We are adding large scale, very detailed to all our cliffs based on the geology at a given location. This adds an exciting new
Adesso col tastino a sinistra del coso passi al...
The second is a big one for you ground vehicle enthusiasts. Rocks are now found not scattered everywhere, like spilled popcorn at the cinema.
A destra, sì, dell'analogico, diciamo.
To a brand new rock scattering algorithm isn't annoying as hell.
Sì.
223.
Physical data generated for
Bene,
each
bene.
large and medium tile. Now rock distribution
Un
makes
filler pieno
sense
se
on a
praticamente
physical
la C2 ogni volta.
Ah, sì.
So if you're still crashing into them after this comes out, that's on you.
Oh, che
The rock
roba.
assets themselves have had a glow up.
Sono i prati verdi,
Now
cioè
create
con...
rock sets related to a particular geology that look like they originated from the same source. And
Sì,
this
ci sono
ties
anche
into
i
how we're
pascoli.
distributing minables in much more interesting ways too.
Prossima missione di weekend, prendere le corna di bisonte.
So now that our base terrain
Esatto.
and rock scattering looks good, let's add some vegetation and
Per avere
explore some
tutta
additional biomes.
l'armatura con il pelo.
Next one's forests and grasslands are full of trees, various grass species, rock formations, and they're found in all sorts of elevations, like mountain valleys, open
Aspetta un
plains,
attimo
and
che
dense meadows.
ti troviamo anche i dottocchettini. Allora,
When we start
questo...
to add a bit of fresh
Ma sei già
water,
pieno
they begin
No,
to
è pieno del tutto, no? Ci sta...
240 su 240.
Ah, sì?
Sì.
Ah, vabbè, allora niente.
And while forests are super cool, let's focus on the grasslands and wetlands.
No, se riesci a aspirare lo stesso.
Ah, vuoi no sì, però.
Prova.
How are we making these look so great? Obviously, we've had grass before.
Ti dice filler full.
Because until now, we haven't been able to spawn
Filler
grass in
station
large
full.
enough quantities
Ok, dai, niente
or
ora, vabbè.
effectively
Tanto
represented at distance.
sarà...
So we're stepping up our game in terms of spawning, shaping, and shading grass.
Oh, adesso ottoemo una mission.
With Genesis, we now leverage
Vedremo
GPU
contratti.
to create vast quantities of assets across all
E salvage.
whether it be dense meadows,
Origin 300i.
collections of ground cover like you can see in these wetlands.
Aegis Sabre, Drake Caterpillar.
By conforming them to the unique terrain underneath.
Non sei
Now we can
tantissimo
finally
Caterpillar, mi
cover
ricordo che
complex
volta
terrain
il
shapes with
Caterpillar
grass
che avevi
and
fatto
ground cover assets, and as a result they are
Vabbè,
now
prendiamo questa intanto, magari là vicino dopo ne troviamo delle altre.
expect and not sticking out like before.
Contract unavailable. What?
Next, let's take a look at how we light our grass. Now, as in real life, the shading of a grass blade, or indeed a whole field of grass, is lit very differently to like a flat surface. We now use a solution that shades meadows of grass far more like fur or hair. And this, if you think about it, makes sense. At a distance, a field of grass is far more like a carpet or cloth than a flat surface. This improves how our grass looks from a near perspective, as well as bringing us nicely into how we're solving the distant representation of grass. So, let's talk about the distance problem. One of our biggest achievements with Genesis is allowing us to build beautiful biomes out of flora and geology assets like a building set. Can I say Lego?
No.
Too late. But in the past, this broke down very quickly when objects simply disappeared when viewing the same biome from 10, 20, 100 kilometers away. Because we don't hide planetary transitions and allow you to view complex regions from very large distances, there are almost infinite perspectives from which you can see a location in Star Citizen. So, how can we afford to evaluate complex spawning logic at runtime for the entire swathes of the planet? Enter the virtual terrain.
Se ti voglio intanto andare a, mi vado a svuotare il filler.
Sono già al filler io.
Ah, sei già lì? Ah, grande.
Da quanto le faccio? Da 8?
No, falle da 16.
Ma dopo abbiamo... dopo quando arriviamo a Horizon hai il track del massimo per prendere.
No. Vabbè, ti butti sotto e mi tolgo. A Horizon c'ho il max lift, sì. Sì, a Horizon ce l'ho.
As close-up assets, whether that's our lovely rolling hills, some more dramatic rockscapes, those muggy wetlands, or even our festering swamps. So yeah, we didn't forget about the swamps, and they're coming to Nyx 1 as well. Built using the lessons learned and all the technologies we've developed, these swamps now spring into existence from the planetary data. This biome combines all of the elements from the other biomes we've shown you today, from water interaction, denser spawning, unique ground coverage, and I think it creates something really unique. Anyway, that's our update on the planet tech portion of Genesis and how we're using it right now to sculpt the identity of Nyx 1. And I hope you're as excited as we are to explore this and everything we haven't shared yet next year.
As you can see, Genesis is now inspiring everyone here to create planets of the quality and believability we've always strived for. A meeting of technology and art that I truly believe will set our worlds apart from anything we've done before. And with that said, let's move on to a little travel between systems, literally. Up until now, our mission system has been specific to the star system you're in, meaning a Stanton mission has to take place in the Stanton system.
Ah, ma questa è la 300i, è vero, cazzo.
Quella piccolina la
Esplorano. L'ho confuso con quest'altra.
Decadente nave.
System-to-system hauling missions. Hauling is back.
No one said hauling was gone. You guys even play the game?
These are exactly what they say on the tin. Missions where you're going to start in, say, Stanton and end in Nix, taking various volumes of cargo between the stations. So there'll be high volumes of cargo that kind of fulfill the purpose for the Hull C and the other series of Hull ships. And there'll be a few sort of more direct routes.
So you might pick up some cargo from Ruin Station in Pyro and go through the jump point to Stanton and drop it off there at one of the Helios.
So if you've never sort of experienced the jump point or going through it, these missions will require you to. They're no way limited. You can do them in any sort of ship you want, any size of ship. I'll be doing them in my Drake Cutter myself, between Stanton and Nix.
Just a Drake Cutter?
I've got a few ships, but the Drake Cutter is really cute, so.
One thing that we're looking to add with these interstellar missions is scripted combat encounters where you can be attacked by NPC ships. Maybe the mission giver has tipped off some pirates who are looking to get a hold of that cargo, as well as express missions, which means the deadline timers that you're used to in the regular hauling missions might get really tight and you've got to learn to be very fast. All of the love and care that has gone into hauling missions so far, with the logistical network and making sure they make sense within the themes of the systems, just as much love has gone into the interstellar missions we're making now.
At the start of the show, we said we were going to build out
Come?
the system right in front of you.
Devo attaccare per forza sul grid, posso anche appoggiarli.
No, cioè ti conviene attaccare prima sul grid e dopo le appoggi quando... Perché almeno stanno ferme quelle sotto.
Okay, so Rock Cracker, Jared, is our internal name.
No,
Rock Cracker is where you have to crack a rock. It's a big rock. You want more?
Ho messo il tasto che mi alzo dal sedile con la R. E quindi non posso ruotare col tractor. Sei andata via, Dio porco.
These were originally industrial facilities breaking apart large asteroids and mining them down. But since they've been mothballed and been left abandoned. So you're going to have to find your way inside, thinking about how do we bring this facility back to life. It's not just about flipping a switch. As you bring these stations back to life, you'll be lighting the beacon and calling attention to these long forgotten places.
One of the main features is the laser head, which will require certain things to get working. It's up to you and your friends to find how to get in.
Che tristezza scrappare sta nave proprio, guarda.
Whether you're discovering the bowels of the station and mining your way through long forgotten tunnels, or you're going through the main laser entrance.
È la 600i quella un po' più cicciotta.
Now, as you're traversing through the facility, you'll find the old engine room. Now, there may be ways to bring the facility back to life, kickstart the engines, and bring power to different parts of the facility. Maybe eventually bringing the laser back online and cracking some rocks.
The secondary gameplay loop is FPS combat. You're not there by yourself.
There may be squatters and outlaws in these stations trying to stop you from what you want to do.
So you've found these old facilities, you've brought them back to life. You've systematically brought power to various functions of the facility. You've activated the laser. You've fired the laser. You've broken apart the rock. And then you'll be able to fly your ship inside and see what's there.
So you fly a ship into an asteroid?
Yeah. You just get into your ship and fly in and start searching around and trying to find the pieces that you want to mine.
I'm really excited about Rockcracker because it's a sandbox activity. You can kind of go to these whenever you want to.
This content is for players who enjoy mining, who enjoy exploration, investigation, and don't mind a little bit of FPS content while they're there.
It will be very new experience compared to any other asteroids because this one,
Lo trovano
kind of
hammered.
like Alan and mine, will crack open and show its secret.
And one presumes you can make a decent amount of
Come?
scratch. An asteroid this big
No,
enough,
no.
fly your spaceship into it.
It wouldn't be worth doing if you couldn't make a good amount of coin. Yeah.
Making promises for the econ team.
Yeah.
Spero che non si svegli,
Go
insomma.
balance it.
It's for people who want a lot of minerals. When crafting comes in, when all the other mechanics and features that we want in the game for 1.0 come in, it will be a place where like an organization or a group of like 5-6 people could come and just get a monumental amount of minerals.
So that's a look at some of what's coming over the next 12 months. In addition to what we've shown, there'll be new mission packs tailored to the People's Alliance and their struggles. There'll be events that invest you into the evolving storyline of all three systems we'll have in the game. And of course, when we begin populating these with new planets, there'll be a whole host of ground-based POIs, settlements and structures inhabited by those trying to make their way in the verse. And all of this in service of building star systems that complement the massive corporate yard of Stanton, the lawless ganking of Pyro, and now the new frontier of discovery for the Nyx system. Shall I say ganking?
Allora, already did.
Adesso restano da 2 scoop. Recycle material.
Good job, everyone. So yeah, a whole lot to take in there. Interstellar hauling is the beginning of a massive expansion to the mission system that'll let us connect these 3-star systems like never before. What else we got? Rockcracker. Rockcracker is just one of the next operations that'll be coming to the Nyx system in the first half of next year. We're going to fly into an asteroid, do that thing that miners love more than anything else. Complain about PvPers getting in their way.
Quindi tiro fuori tutto quanto anche se sono da uno scudo la
And of course, one of the most anticipated features coming to Star Citizen, Genesis, and what that means for the planets of Star Citizen, including the ones already in there. So let's talk to Will Hain and find out more. And I'm just remembering that Will Hain is in France at the watch party. Okay, France. Ask Slarty Bartfast over there how they're going to use Genesis to update the planets and moons of Stanton. And
Inizio a scrapparne
See
intanto.
if we can get some fjords. What else we got? The CitizenCon Digital Goodies Pack. It's a hard thing to say. That went up for sale a couple weeks ago and has a whole bunch of mysterious items
No
in it.
target,
And that's what
come
we're
sarebbe?
seeing now that almost all of them are tied to the
Ho
Nyx
trovato...
system
Ah
some
no,
way or
ok.
another. So let's find out what's actually in there.
Ok.
There's a gunship flight suit and helmet. 2 armor sets from that
Bello.
mysterious faction causing a ruckus with a van duel, and an Intersect BDU sweater and outfit, a couple of crazy weapons that I'm certain we're going to learn about in just a few minutes, some slick Levski swag, and finally, to celebrate the long-awaited addition of the van duel to Star Citizen, a cool van duel
Digital
mic,
Goodies
adorable
Pack.
plushie, which I
Ok.
swear to love.
Questo qua da essere de Xantiax,
So yeah,
sicuro.
it's a pretty solid haul for this year's Digital Goodies Pack,
Cosa?
which you can still pick up right now on the
È
RSI
un
store.
pacchetto
So now, let's go ahead and transition into our next
esclusivo.
Much of what you see in the show today has been the culmination of a lot of people's work in... What's up? All right, I had a dream about like this once. Yeah. Okay, so against everyone's better judgment, the thing has finally happened.
Mi so in
Can I help?
Habitation Deck. Sì.
How do you think the show's going? Good. We're getting the Nyx star system and the Vanduul are coming. Kind of been a lot of Nyx, right? Well, yeah, but it's a major milestone and it deserves a major showcase celebrating everybody's hard work. And... You got more, right? Well, yeah, there's spaceships coming up. Cool. Wow, it's like they only scanned the original community portion of me. If pictures steal your soul, imagine what face scanning and PCAP does. Well, this has been super cringe. So I'm gonna head out. Bye. Oh, regular CitizenCon is still better. You should have done that. Of course. Thank you. Part of me that isn't a soulless marketing person.
L'ascensore non funziona.
C'è la scala a sinistra a destra dell'ascensore.
No. No.
Esci, cioè...
Let's just go to some spaceships, shall we?
C'hai una... tipo dove c'è il reattore, per dirti.
Director here at CIG, and welcome to Talking Ship, where we're going to talk about 3 new ships coming to the persistent universe.
3 nuove navi stanno arrivando. Talking Ship, ok.
No, ma nel senso non ti
The last year has been pretty hectic in terms of vehicle deliveries. I think we delivered the most we've ever done in a 12-month period, and we've covered all the way from tiny little snubs all the way up to
Porca troia.
We've kind of filled out a few little gaps. We've introduced some new ships by some old manufacturers.
We had the bars come out, and obviously people have enjoyed playing with that. We snuck the Idris in, without none of you is expecting it for a while, and it's been a busy year. It's nice to start revisit some of the older catalogue and some of the bigger ships again.
I think my favourite ship from the last year is a tie between the Wolf and the Golem.
Favourite ship in the last year? Probably the Wolf.
I feel like it's the obvious one. I'm trying to think of something else, but I really like the Wolf.
Everyone's mentioned the Wolf. The Wolf's everyone's favourite.
The Wolf, obviously, a return of Kruger, a completely new aesthetic to the game.
The Wolf was, you know, it was kind of everything we set it out to be, and it revived an old manufacturer that's been for a while, so yeah, I'm going to say Wolf.
The Golem, I think, is just an incredibly well-formed ship in such a small package. It really just shows off that Drake aesthetic, giving you the absolute bare minimum needed to perform the role.
I honestly do really like the Zeus. I think it came out really well. It's kind of hard to pin down a favourite, to be honest, because we've released, you know, a lot of really cool ships.
Next year we've got some super exciting ships coming up. We're ticking off a few big ones, which is good. We're going to see, again, maybe some ships from some manufacturers that don't have that many in their lineup. There's a few big challenging ones starting, so they're good. A breadth of ships, should we say.
The 3 new ships we're going to introduce today all tie in some way to the primary factions fighting over the Nyx system. We'll start with the People's Alliance and Anvil Aerospace. Anvil is a very military-based brand. It's been a brand that's in Star Citizen for a long time, fighting for lots of military contracts and law, often up against Aegis, and to the point it actually beat Aegis in the past. You will be familiar with a lot of their ships' designs, such as the Hornet and Lightning. Earlier this year, we introduced the Anvil Asgard, based on the Valkyrie chassis, which is an extremely popular offering. And this year, we're bringing the concept ship we introduced last year, the Anvil Paladin, to life. The Paladin is a gunship from Anvil Aerospace designed to support ground operations.
A gunship is a ship that's designed to sustain a sustained firefight while dealing a lot of damage, also taking damage.
We don't have a lot of gunships in the game that are true dedicated gunships. They are quite a tricky archetype to control in game without being too powerful. It's designed with a lot of firepower and high armor and health, but very low maneuverability.
It's multi-crew, it's just built.
Ok, poca manovrabilità, tanto sustain, quindi è bella tancosa.
Big guns.
It's got a very similar
è bella offensiva.
form to the Valkyrie. It kind of reminds me of, I guess, like a pit bull. Obviously a very menacing silhouette.
Like a pit bull.
It looks quite forward-weighted in its stance. It feels like it's coming towards you.
Aspetta che mi sposto un attimo.
And I think that's something that helps with it feeling intimidating.
Sì, ti sei in centro del...
If we swing round, following the ship round clockwise, what you'll then see is the first of the side turrets. If you notice the canopy, you'll see that there's a fairly thick space between where the glass is and the hull exterior. That's because it has deployable armor, which can come out and give you a little bit more cover while you're actually attacking the target head on.
It's got these really nice kind of dual connected wings, with the turrets out on the sides, just to try and give as much kind of range for those turrets as we can get.
Which is controlled by one of the 2 remote stations underneath the bridge. If we come around to the rear, you'll see a rail. Now that rail mounts the main turret of the ship, which is controlled by the co-pilot.
Ah, guarda la torretta grossa che va su e giù da sopra a sotto.
On top with it. And then the side turrets also have 360
La Scorpius.
That way around and 180 out sideways. So really you have, between the turrets pretty much 360 coverage in all directions. One of the unique things about the Paladin is all the turrets are remote and all the crew are located in this one central 2-story room.
A lot of our other gunships, the crew gets scattered across the ship, but with the Paladin, you're all sat together with a nice, cool experience, so you can really feel like you're playing as a group.
You've got the pilot, co-pilot up top, and you've got the gunners underneath, and I think that helps with the intention of what the ship does, because you've got this really nice kind of like gunner viewpoint down, kind of giving this lower coverage.
We added a glass floor just to keep the two connected. I think that really helps with the feeling that you're all working together and communicating.
That said, if you don't have the ability to fully crew a Paladin, you can still fly it and engage in combat solo.
Obviously not as good as if you have a full crew.
Ok, cioè quanti?
I'll guarantee your friends are going to be online.
As a solo ship, it's pretty capable of doing a variety of missions within Star Citizen. So if you want to run this ship solo, you can take on combat missions that, say, other heavy fighters like the Scorpius or other ships such as the Drake Cutlass could do. Coming aboard the Paladin, you enter into this sort of armory, ready room area. You have a variety of suit lockers and weapon racks in this room.
Everything's very militaristic, stripped back, simple. It's a very functional space, but you'll find everything you need in there.
One of the improvements from the original concept is we've added a small dedicated cargo bay area allowing you to store actual SCU crates. Forward of that is the route to the lower gunners, and then upstairs you have the bridge area, and then off that central area you have the dual living quarters, one on the left, one on the right, and then at the rear you have the main sort of engineering area where the majority of the components are. Also within the upper traversal area you also have a little breakout area with
Fanculo l'ingegneria,
toilets, etc.
I think it's a very cool looking ship. I think we did a really nice job of taking what was there in the concept and adding an extra level of detail and trying to kind of push things forward.
I think it hits the nail in terms of a really solid military ship. It's really complementary to some of the other ships in the Anvil lineup, so something like the Valkyrie, where you've got this big drop ship. You know, the Paladin's there just to make sure it's safe, make sure no one messes with you, and just basically scare people away.
The thing I like most, I think, about the Paladin is that it's very clearly got a crew of 4, and they all kind of work.
4 persone come crew.
You know, the pilot, co-pilot, and the 2 gunners. So basically, all equal on the ship. There's one toilet. Everyone's got the same style of bunk. When they're at work, everyone's at the front of the ship together.
It's really odd to me that you call that. You like that there's one toilet for 4 people.
Well, you know, it's you all work together. You're all equal at work. You're toilet never gets cold. Yeah.
So that's the Anvil Paladin. Whilst originally a military-built craft, it's the perfect ship for folks on the frontier trying to defend against threats. And talking of threats, let's move to our next ship, a replica from Hesperia.
La replica dell'Hesperia, cioè?
Hesperia are a high-end manufacturer. They specialize in recreating exotic and particularly alien spacecraft.
Effectively what they're doing is they're remanufacturing them, making them a little bit more suitable for kind of human flight. And the latest offering from Hesperia is the Vandal Stinger.
The Vandal are big, scary space aliens. They're like 7-foot-tall, evil war race that sort of take over, steal technology, absorb it, fuse it all together into their own needs.
They are the relatively nasty aliens that you sometimes hear about and haven't seen much.
Quella lì è la nave grossa che tira fuori il capitano quando esce dal Squadron 42.
Sort of ace pilots or high-ranking members within their clans.
Sembra un heavy fighter, guarda.
The Stinger is a competitor to something like the FA or I guess the Scorpius.
It packs a lot of firepower in quite a large frame, so it's a very, very tanky spacecraft. The firepower is almost unrivaled in terms of just both the number and the size of them. So it's there for players who don't want agility. They don't want to be in and out quickly. They want to be there.
Sembrano size 4
with
quelli.
big guns and taking all the hits. One thing Isperia have done
3,
differently with the
4.
Stinger is they have done
4
away with
size
the majority
4.
of bespoke weapons.
They heard everyone's complaints about the glaive and blade and have stripped off the original Vandal weapons to allow customization for standard human weapons.
With the exception of the single size 5 gun.
Because it was too well integrated into the whole, even for Isperia to remove.
Oh,
All the additional weapons are generic mounts, so they can be swapped with any of the existing lineup that we have in the game. By doing this, it provides greater flexibility to the end user, and this is something Isperia wanted for the civilian market. For that one bespoke weapon, the size 5 plasma
Ma
cannon.
è la stessa o hanno cambiato con la Blade?
Size 5 plasma cannons on the scythe and glaive.
La glaive,
Gen 2 model.
No, non era la glaive.
In a different aesthetic.
Quindi un size 5 e aveva e 2 e 4 size 4. No, dai, impossibile.
Our job as the vehicle art team on the PU was to take the Stinger from the squadron team and prepare it for life in the PU. We took an opportunity to take this really well-established art style and add extra details when needed.
So the exterior is a real blend of these kind of hard surface, kind of rare alloys.
Non so se devo fare un fiato di confusione. Questa vedi, sti qua sembrano size 4.
It connects all the kind of underside of the vehicle and pulls the whole ship together.
You can tell it's very different.
Guarda, 2 size 4 secondo me e 2 size 2 tipo questa.
The way the cockpits are constructed.
Up at the front we've got this big kind of bubble dome that gives the cockpit quite a unique shape compared to some of our other ships, and also gives the pilot a unique position within the ship and kind of gives great visibility out the front.
Boarding the Stinger is a little unusual compared to other ships, obviously being alien in nature.
You're going through a ramp at the rear, and it leads you kind of straight up into the belly of the ship.
There's, lots of organic detail, rib cages, kind of strange alien forms.
On entry of the cockpit, the seat kind of comes down towards you, and you kind of climb over the back a bit like a motorbike.
You're basically riding into the cockpit. It feels very much like you're being carried inside the cockpit.
Into the traditional prone flying pose that Vandal pilots use.
È tipo di stirati, tipo Superman.
The team done a really good job of making something that feels different, it feels alien, but it suits our lineup of ships and it suits our universe.
I think you guys do a really good job of respecting the direction and vision from the original Stinger and Vandal ships in Squadron.
We've tried to take a lot of inspiration from movies and other science fiction material, but I think it sits well within the Star Citizen universe.
So we have the Paladin for the People's Alliance. We have the Stinger for people that really like Vandal and want to try and pretend to be them. But what about the other mysterious faction we have running around?
Sì, quell'altra non ha carico però. Quella Vandal non ha carico.
Cargo center out in Odin. He started being able to get his hands on some stuff that other people couldn't. Items that necessarily you couldn't find on a store shelf, but you wanted anyway.
I think Gray is interested in, happy customers. Gray just sees themselves as a conduit to get
Ti sa dove che sei torrette sua Reclaimer, vero?
And I think that his latest offering is really going to turn some heads.
Nel caso chi ne attacca.
Non mi ricordo, vado ad addocchiare.
Sono appena esci dalla stanza qua, dalla cabina. Le trovi un'isola centrale con le 4, c'è una stazione di scansione mi pare e 4 torrette.
The best of whatever they can find lying around, put together to make something truly unique, wonderful, arguably beautiful, and just released out into the universe to see what happens.
At first glance at the exterior of the Shiv, I think most people will probably recognize there is more than a fair proportion of a Cutlass visible there, but it's had quite a few changes to it.
Guarda il remake della Cutlass.
Elements from other ships. You've got, main thrusters that are from the Valkyrie.
Even the bits that are obviously a Cutlass have had panels welded on, panels removed. The top turret, which is now remote, is just this hodgepodge of multiple other ships' turrets. And then the changes continue on the inside, where again, it sort of feels Cutlass-like, but then you'll find There's bits of Crusader ships just integrated into the wall instead of what was there originally.
It has lost its side entrance, some of its cargo capacity, but what it's gained is it's gained visually more powerful thrusters. It's gained a really kind of nice set of belly thrusters. It's upped its firepower.
As ever, with the refined work from Gray's Market, you can see that great care was taken to the health and safety to ensure that there's no trip hazards anywhere.
There's like loose cables, panels are exposed. If you look carefully, you'll notice there are like tools laying around in the cockpit.
It's gained a toilet.
Ah, ok, è un seccio.
Bucket.
Yeah, while we're doing stuff, you need a second to wash your hands. It's not an animal.
It is very much taken that.
È perfetta la Sbronzoid questa qua. Col secchio al posto del cesso.
Quite an achievement.
Just look at this thing. How do you even begin to describe the
Che sbordo, guarda che bella.
It's the Shiv.
This is something new and different for Star Citizen. Where did it come from?
I'm not going to answer that.
Just nothing. Just
no comment.
Gray goes to places and talks to people. I mean, you know, there are just many ways to find these things that, you know, I mean, are they legitimate, you know, manufacturers? No. Are they operating on the right side of the law? Maybe not, but, you know,
does Gray have a motto, an ethos to live by?
It probably comes down to, don't ask where I got it.
Don't ask how we got it.
Don't worry about it. Just ask if you want it.
I think the Shiv is for someone that is looking for something different, a bit away from the norm. They just want something that's unique.
It's definitely for people who like a rustic aesthetic.
It's a fun ship.
Cos'è?
It's also really strong, to be honest, and it's absolutely a statement.
I'm happy with the 3 ship offerings. They are obviously very combat heavy.
There's something we wouldn't normally release all at once, but honestly, all of them are a different statement, and they're all cool.
As always, super excited to release these ships into the game and just see how players react and play with them. It's always fun to see the quirks and the shenanigans that people get up to with them. So that's Talking Ship for another year. So I've just been informed that we have to do a bit of a timeshare agreement this year, so we have to throw it over to Alexi for Talking Weapons, which is an extremely original name.
Che sborda con finia?
Talking about the new edition that come out in October. The non-weapons.
Fino adesso sono... questo qua è il recycle material. Cioè, sì, questa qua solo di recycle, adesso abbiamo 25 SKU solo di recycle.
Weapons that come from unknown origins.
He will sell things that no company in their right mind would ever make.
Quasi, mi manca il pezzo sotto.
Scrappy and take together and the most kind of like pyro-ish weapons that you can think of. Right now we're releasing 3 new weapons. Rocket launcher, the LMG, and the long-awaited Space AK.
Un rocket launcher hanno messo.
Not only is the most in demand, but I've been politely badgered about the most. It's a fun rifle that basically fires and ballistic in sequence. So your first shot will be your ballistic, your second shot will be the energy. You'll see on the top of the art there is a bolt that cycles the rounds, and that goes off with the ballistic shot, but it does not go off with the energy shot. And that is just like a really fun way of making a weapon work in kind of like a scrappy, glued together kind of aesthetic. The LMG, this thing is a really fun, slow-firing, hard-hitting beast. It will bring the 50 cal.
Slow firing,
other weapons that have
però è già pesante.
At the bearing sniper rifle and decoder. Honestly, if you even get hit by one, you just
LMG.
tier 1 injury, back to medical.
Are you even trying anymore?
You know what? We made all these really complicated, fancy guns, and some people just want, I want a slow firing rifle. Give me a scrap together box that fires the biggest thing you can possibly fire.
We don't have a rocket launcher of this caliber. It will be 3 grenades straight together that you pull into the tube and fire towards your enemies. The cool part about it will have an arming distance, so you will not be able to just point it towards an enemy.
It's also going to have a lot of spread. So essentially, you're going to have to get very close with your launcher to blow up ships with a single payload in it. You can't actually aim the apparatus. Because you've got the tube on your shoulder, and you try to aim it, you have to physically put the tube in your head. So we were like, oh, we can't have an aiming apparatus for this. And then we realized, like, it's in the spirit of being a tube that you can't use the aiming apparatus, and you just kind of like, all right, I think that's the middle of the screen, I'm gonna hit it.
It's in the spirit of being a tube.
Are we gonna talk about binoculars? Binoculars are really cool.
Binocoli, oh che svolo, finalmente
I think it will be really convenient.
Porca troia, era ora che mettessero i binocoli, porca puttana.
Especially far away, instead of using your sniper scope, for example.
Will the binoculars have glint?
Cos'è glint?
I'm not aware of this one. Probably not, because binoculars are not something that you need to be aware of.
It's really funny because obviously, due to Glintgate, as you know, I beautifully internally call it, basically there was a lot of community feedback basically saying like, oh, I really like spotting people. I really like playing a spotter. And essentially I was like,
ah, ok, è per spottare anche la gente.
And what can we make gadget-wise that doesn't require new features? And it was like, binoculars.
Porca troia.
I prototyped a thing which essentially was just a scope in a hand, and it worked. So we've got some really cool binoculars coming that allow you to spot people from distances.
Eh sì, fai la scansione.
And how much damage do the binoculars do?
Depends on how you throw them.
E quanto danno fa il binocolo, che è la domanda HB. Che bastardo.
Thanks, Zach. That's the end of this segment for this year, so that's talking ship and weapons. Unless anyone else is going to come and tell me something else. It's been an exciting year, and I think the next year of ships is going to be even more exciting and expansive than this year.
Però bisogna vedere se li spotta per un tot di tempo, se ti resta il coso, perché secondo me...
No, secondo me lo guardi solo mentre lo stai inquadrando e dopo basta.
Se no diventa troppo.
Sì, se no...
That is an eclectic bunch of combat ships for the
diventa
verse.
Fortnite.
They're all available right now up on the robertsspaceindustries.com store. Also, any minute now, there's going to be a PTU drop that includes all 3. So you can fly them now ahead of their release next week when Alpha 432 goes live. 3 combat ships. I wonder if they'll have any additional uses coming up later in the show. That's a hint. All right, what else can I shill? Oh, there's merch. We've got these cool new Levski desk mat things. These are always popular. There's some Levski metal posters on the store, and of course, love them or hate them, but you can't avoid them. There's this cool new Wicklows Emporium t-shirt. Yeah.
Tappetino del mouse, una t-shirt del Wicklow.
Links to offerings from our third-party partners, from eye trackers to gaming chairs to voice packs to spaceship models from new partners like Planet Ring and Pigeon Spaceport and more. You can find all of that on the RSI website as well. And what else can I shill? Oh, for those of you who are at watch parties, where is it? Challenge coins. Who doesn't love challenge coins? There's these lovely Levski themed challenge coins if you're attending one of the 9 official watch parties.
Della moneta di
There's one of these in the goodies pack, so you check those out. Don't leave today without getting your Levski challenge coin. All right, what else can I shill? Now I'm kind of tired of shilling. All right, let's find out some more about where we are. Simon, can we move? Can we do? Oh, yeah. Look at that. Okay, here we go. Pardon me. Here we go. Excuse me. Hi. How you doing? That was my best angle. Hey, I gotta be careful. Last year I took 3 steps and tore a muscle. All right, so this is the 9th floor of CIG Manchester's Manchester office. That's yoo-hoo! This is the room where we have lunch every day, and if you get here early enough, croissants, if the weapons team hasn't stolen all of them. Over here, we got some cool mannequins representing different aspects of the game. You got the ever-present, Hurston security armor over here. That's really cool. You got your Duster's armor right here. You got this guy from a game that we're not talking about today. Marine armor, yeah, it's all pretty cool. And then when you come over here, got a nice little recreation area. There's some sim pits over there for people who need to test that kind of stuff. We got this cool Krigeri Bengal carrier. Come over here, shoot it. Go down the nose here. Watch this. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna go over here. Can you see me? Hi, Mom. All right. So yeah, and what are you doing, Richard Towler? All right. I thought John went to Washington, D.C. Let's see, what else we got? We got cool Voyager bar here. This is where we get all kinds of breakfast goodies, coffee, stuff like that. Hey, who remembers the big coffee controversy of 2016, where everybody took to Reddit and pondered the question, do devs deserve coffee? I do. You want to see what next year's big controversy is? Check this out. I'm gonna come over here. Do devs deserve coffee? Welcome to the Stargarita machine.
Sicuro.
Do devs deserve frozen deliciousness?
Granita fresca.
I don't know. Go to Reddit and let us know. All right, let's see. Let's go over here. Competition. Oh, competition winners. We have the list of competition winners. Can we put that on the screen? Yeah, sorry, competition winners. Remember the competition for the CitizenCon winners? The people made the videos, and we gave them a Kruger L21 Wolf. We actually have the names. They're behind me. Look. All right, that's cool. Also, everybody's got food. Do I have food here? Oh, somebody's supposed to save me pizza. All right, so we got...
No, sempre a pizza.
You guys saved me a lot of pizza. Let's see, there's like 3 different kinds of pizza here. What if we just combine them into like a challenger situation here?
Cosa fa?
That's a CitizenCon throwback if you're not familiar with. So I have now crafted my own pizza experience. And that is a terrible segue into our next segment. Gemma, can we, Gemma, are you there?
Yes, Jared.
Can we fire up the FPS crafting segment while I try to chew this off camera?
We sure can. Roll, BZ.
Già facciamo fatica a capire l'inglese, cancaro, anche con la bocca piena.
Star Citizen, at its heart, will always be an enormous sandbox experience, where you can set out to tackle the universe in whatever way
Guarda che non te
you
butta
want.
fuori da
But that
gioco.
doesn't mean we can't shape parts of the universe here and there to better suit
Ma non ti
our
cava
needs.
voglia di darmi una
Because for
mano?
both you and us. Let's start this part of the show
Sì,
with a look
sì,
at how
perché
crafting
siccome non
is going to
so di
change
ascoltare cosa che
everything
dice, so
from
di
resource
guardare
gathering,
soltanto il
refining,
labiale.
and even combat when it comes online in the next few months.
First version of crafting is going to be quite small in scale. We're going to use it as a kind of a concentrated effort to allow the players to experience the initial UI, the flow of gathering materials that have different quality, and using those to craft items which are better than what they have currently in the game.
The first version is going to be primarily FPS items that you can craft.
Grazie.
Armor. For Star
Spero
Citizen,
se ti mi ha fatto fare una merda da solo.
Star Citizen isn't your standard MMO. We don't have levels.
Se comodo, veramente bello portarti via a scrappare.
You perfect, you research, you improve.
Che spero c'ero da una torretta, andavo a quest'altra, dopo adesso vado a svuotare il filler.
Ogni tanto tiravo fuori il fucile e mi caricavo.
Crafting isn't just a progression mechanic for creating new items. It's also a fundamental change to how we handle resources in the game. The materials that you collect, how you refine them, quality matters.
Crafting the weapons, you'll be able to have some quality materials to influence the item stats on those weapons.
It'll be somewhat random, potentially weighted on the location of the material. Some will have a higher chance of higher quality. And once you take those materials to your crafting bench, the fabricator, you can use them to craft, and the different attributes will be increased based on the quality of the materials you use. It's not just iron ore anymore, it's iron ore of the quality that you know will get you the stats for the item that you desire. And it's not just mining, it's essentially every resource we can get our hands on.
To support this, we also need major changes to inventory so that all of these new resources that you're collecting, you can see what you have, you can order it better, you can understand what you have in your inventory.
Nuovo inventario.
We won't have the new refining crafting system yet. We'll be using the existing ones. Those will pass the quality through into the refined materials, which you can then take to your crafting machine and start making your personal items. Once you have your blueprint and your quality materials that you've refined, then you can put them together on the item fabricator. This will be pretty much what we showed in last year's CitizenCon with
per crearsi armi o
quality resources to different aspects of the item. Once you're happy with what you see on the preview, you'll be able to click to craft and it'll get queued up and your result will be produced sometime later. You'll be able to get the new crafting machine from shops in most landing zones. You'll be able to bring
anche
it
le
up
navi
on
puoi
your
creare
refrigerator
dopo,
and
sì.
use it in your personal hangar or tractor beam it around and stick it on
Infatti
a ship.
metterà tipo missioni che se mantieni tipo una posizione ti danno, cioè riesci a stamparti una nave.
The vast majority of them will be earned through missions, and then you can use that blueprint to craft the item that it is that you've got the blueprint for. So it should be a good reason to go and test all the different various missions in the game.
The advantage of crafting your own items is that they'll be better than anything that you could buy from shops. You'll be able to increase and improve item stats that are relevant to your gameplay. Maybe your gun will shoot faster, maybe it'll do some more damage, or your armor will have greater resistances against environmental effects or incoming fire. You might be wondering, what about the upgrade and research? That will be coming in a subsequent release. We're happy with this initial scope for crafting.
It's going to be so valuable for us as devs to kind of get the metrics in, get the feedback in, because then we can make the changes that, you know, they only become obvious, so to speak, when you have kind of mass amounts of data and mass amounts of users using it. So I'm very excited to get it out in the wild.
It's our intention to get crafting out on tech preview by the end of the year and get the testing we need so we can release it when it's ready.
So that's one way you'll be crafting your own experiences in the Star Citizen universe. But what about us? Where do we get to hone in and craft a bespoke experience here and there, specifically tailored to individual and small group play? Well, that's where instancing
non lo
comes
so.
in. And I'm going to let Benji tell you a little bit more.
Controlla che non andiamo a sbattere contro la Hammered, va.
We're bringing instancing to Star Citizen in 2026. Why are we doing it, and how will it work? So if you've played any content in 2025 in Star Citizen, you know that most of these areas were in actual PvP zones where other players could interfere. Instancing is a means to create an environment where designers can create tailored content that's tuned to a specific group size, but it is also protected from outside interference. It's not to say that we don't love PvP. I'm a PvP guy. PvP me, bro. But like most MMOs, a good balance between a dangerous overworld and a protected instances is needed. Right now, we don't have this ability, and this is something we really need in order to give you a sense of progression that is tailored and balanced to a tunable amount of groups, so the difficulty matches the group size. There's a beginning and an end. It doesn't mean that that doesn't fit in our overworld strategy, meaning getting to the instance is dangerous, exiting the instance is dangerous, or can be interfered with others. But at least when you're playing the content, we can actually make something that's curated for one experience.
So before anybody says this is only a PvE thing, this technology can also be applied to unlock curated PvP experiences that are as seamless as the PvE ones. So it's not about one thing or the other, it's really about unlocking developers' ability to create curated content. So that said, how will it work? Instancing is really an evolution over static to dynamic meshing. We want your instances to be as seamless as your instance hangers, meaning that when you take an elevator, exit the elevator, you're inside the instance. A gateway opens, you cross that gateway, you're now into your instances. Could be also a quantum jump into an instance that you don't even see. The transition is just like a dynamic mesh transition. And so throughout the universe, we will be able to add these areas that are open or closed instances that allow you to join in either with a party and have a reserved instance for your party, or join in open instances that has a number of slots. And so some of those areas will be completely instanced on different servers. This allows us to leverage the compute power of the entire mesh. The closed ones will be really to drive one piece of content. You enter and exit seamlessly, just like we do with your instance hangers currently. Let's go and find out what one of our first instances will be.
Siege of Arzen was an event we did previously, which created a gameplay scenario where the player had to run through and progress through contested islands of Arzen. This was a high-paced, high-intensity event, but it struggled a little bit from its technical execution. But now with the introduction of instancing, it gives us an opportunity to evolve it and modify it and make it better for you and a small group to work through that activity.
It is an event that I had the honor of pretty much solely designing and building all of the logic and having the stress of trying to get it working.
Agent Dooley from the CDF puts the call out for volunteers because basically the Nine Tails have taken over sort of a cluster of floating platforms in Orison.
And you are there to kill these sort of lieutenants of this terrorist organization and take back control. So in our current thinking, Siege of Orison is designed for about a 15 to 20 people fire team. So you, your friends, or your org will go in, you'll all have sort of dedicated roles. Some of you might be the tank who brings in the heavy weapons and sort of pulls the fire. Some of you might sit at the back and be the sniper and pick people off who are a bit further to make the advance easier. Some of you will be the medic whose sole job is going to be revive and look after the rest of your team and the health of them. And some of you will be the people who push for the objectives to try and get sort of most of the mission done. The event was designed for about 15 to 30 people, but when we released it, we fixed the problem with 2 DGSs on one server that was fighting for resources. And with that, we also upped the player count to 100. So when it first debuted, it was already too full for what it was designed for.
It was a massive operation at the time. I think that bringing it back and giving it a refresher will be a fantastic addition back into the PU.
So imagine if Siege was a instance that you could go in and play solo.
Bellissimo, comunque rimettono missioni a Crusader,
or you could join up with random
spettacolo.
players on the server. There's lots of ways that we want to take a look at Siege, how we can make it a more approachable piece of content.
I'm excited, to say the least, to bring back Siege of Orison to Star Citizen and to sort of have it be one of the first tests that we have for instancing and really get it back to sort of a core experience point where it should be. So while the next season is quite heavily focused on Nyx,
Aspirata.
I'm also very happy that we're not really ignoring our other 2 systems of Standard and Pyro, and we're going back there and we're sort of improving and expanding on the player's life in those 2 systems as well.
Allora, o vado a svuotare da nuovo? Vabbè, intanto cerchiamo un'altra nave.
Yes, and while things like Genesis, interstellar hauling, crafting, Siege of Orison, and more will reveal next year, we'll continue to bring life into the existing universe outside of Nyx. There's still one more exciting use for instancing we're building right now. It's an earlier look than normal, and some of it is still in white box, but we're excited to share the first look at a major content release of 2026, and what it means for progression-based gameplay. As an evolution of our Building Interior initiative, you won't discover it by accident, because when it's complete, it will be found deep within the heart of Levski itself. This is the Municipal Works.
Work in progress, ok.
So inside the facility you'll find huge
Quindi noi siamo ancora
chambers,
pronti, dai.
old processing plants, industrial tunnels, and eventually into the old turbines which are still pumping heat into the old rock.
So this is the true history of Levski. This is a place where you won't see Norville, you won't see 918 or the other landing zone.
Come?
The pure basis of Levski. You will have, of course, metal and tunnels and more structural plays, but you will also see a lot of rock and cave. So it's not a place you go to take vacation. It's really a place you go to fix stuff.
Not everybody has what it takes to come down there and do the job that needs to be done.
All of your sewage systems have stopped working. Everything's going to quite literally. And so the player is tasked with their group, most likely, to go into there, take out the outlaws, and get the facility working again.
So let me get this straight. This is literally a mission to fix the toilets of Levski.
It's not just the toilets. You're also trying to turn on the air. Air's a bit more important. It still works in Levski, but they have like maybe polluted air because it's not being cleaned properly. It's not just for the toilets.
Esatto.
Mission.
It's also a little bit more exciting than just going into like
Merda mission.
It's like a free-layered system where there's 3 chapters.
This will be mission-driven and repeatable. Everything from mining to salvage to combat to investigation, a variety of roles. Narratively, it's a real sandbox. Every progression you do will unlock a new area that will link back to previous areas, complexifying the play space.
We've been wanting to have more gameplay around landing zones for a long time. Now that we have instancing tech coming online, that allows us to do something that provides really cool gameplay close to a landing zone.
With the missions, that's what will create different overlays or change the spaces or change the progression, but it'll be the instancing which will enable us to create tailored content to you and your group. So you're going to be able to play a part of it, make your progress, and then log off. And then the next time you come online, you'll be able to pick up where you left off.
It's going to allow players to return back to it at different states depending on how much you've progressed and be able to keep it going until you've reached sort of the end of the whole 3 chapters.
Where you're not going to have other people getting in your way. It's you, your team, your party.
It's a way of giving players content where they know exactly where they're at and they can keep going back to it and improving sort of their own progress and ability to jump through them in faster and faster times as well.
So that's a look at how we'll be allowing players and developers alike to create more crafted experiences within the greater sandbox of the persistent universe. Okay, is that it for me at this point, Jared?
Almost. Throw it back to me, and I've got one more for you after this.
Back to you, Jared.
Everybody's really excited about the year ahead. So that's a brief look at some of the ways in which we're allowing you and our developers to craft a more curated Star Citizen experience. Now, at this point in the show, we are in the home stretch. We've got only one more segment to go. But before we do that, we wanted to check out, we said earlier in the show that we would look at what you were saying during the show. We looked at how to put YouTube comments on the stream, and it was immediately apparent that we were going to lose our broadcast license, so we're not going to do that. We did find some social media stuff on Twitch, though, or not Twitter, X. What is it called now? Let's see what this says. Let's see. We've got Welcome Back Levski from, I'm not wearing my glasses. Oh, no. Oh, time to suit up. Let's go get them, says Ubu. I really should have worn my glasses. Cue the bagpipes. That's the other game, Charlie Oscar. Let's see. Nice to see you live, Jared. Mom? Let's see. First CitizenCon after playing for almost a decade in Austin. Oh, nice. Straight out of Klesher, back to the Hex. Photos from Leicestershire. How do you say it? Is that Leicestershire? Leicester? Leicester? I've only been in the UK for 3.5 years. San Jose Bar Citizen Watch Party. Oh, somebody created a lovely Vandal mask there.
No. Per il momento bisogna aspettare ancora.
Just that, exactly. Just scan that, put that in game. All right, so that's a few reactions we're seeing on social media right now. Before we get to our big finale,
C'è andata di culo, abbiamo trovato quella Hammer.
I did want to talk a little bit about big CitizenCon versus CitizenCon versus what we're doing today, which is CitizenCon Direct. Every year CitizenCon is a monumental task for any number of people, whether it's development, marketing, the support teams, the platform teams, everybody comes together to make this thing happen and go off hopefully without a hitch. And so far we've been doing all right.
Sarebbe rischioso, ma se scrappiamo insieme facciamo presto.
But doing CitizenCon is not always the easiest thing for our developers. You might not assume this, but most game developers are not social butterflies. They tend to like to sit quietly in the dark at their computers, like little goblins. They just make digital virtual worlds like this. And then I come in all happy and like, hey, you want to be on video? And they're like, no. And I'm like, it's in your contract. And they're like, oh yeah. So we thought, we usually do it behind the scenes afterwards, but we thought we'd do a little bit of it here. The folks in the editorial department put together a brief montage of some of the more candid moments from the filming of CitizenCon over the last couple weeks. So we're going to spend 2 minutes and take a look at that. Let's see what they put together.
How many CitizenCons have you performed in now?
Performed? Just the one.
Nope, my first one.
One last year.
2.
A few.
8 or 9? Maybe 9 or 10?
Never.
Man, I don't know, man.
Did you like doing it?
Yes, I was completely terrified.
It was good. A bit stressful.
The first live one.
Non c'è un cazzo.
Weird combination of going from insane highs to insane lows.
Live ones.
Because
It's over.
Sì.
The live ones are pretty special.
Pre-save is always fun, but the live events are special.
Provo a vedere
We were at
Tom
the
5.
weird crack house in Ancos.
right.
I like the live ones. Oh, I mean, I love these digital ones. These are the best.
Every time I've done it, it's been a digital one, and I'd like to do one on stage.
It's because you have a restraining order?
Io sono saltato sull'uomo più vicino.
Didn't know if I was going to be sick, if I was going to lose my stomach.
How hard is it to keep your eyes open on stage?
Poi ora deve essere Serafin, vediamo. Proviamo Home 1 ora. Ah, aspetta, là c'è una nave.
Do I do that a lot?
Una
I am a
Vulture.
very shy individual, so this is me just trying to get out of my
Sai che avrà scrappato quella Vulture.
The ideas that we've been working on for so long.
Ah no? Aspetta, qua c'è una C2? Ah, ma sì, in movimento, ok.
I can feel your passion from here.
Allora.
Cut the camera. 30 seconds, I'm like, do I stand up? Do I sit down? Do I drink?
Si è stampata anche a C2.
Yeah, that's right. Because it's nice and short.
Is this all supposed to be usable content? Because I could be different.
Of all your nicknames, why is Moistmaster your favorite?
I think you mean least favorite, and because it has the word moist in it. I mean, come on.
We'll give you a new nickname by the end of this.
Sounds good. Could do
All
with
right.
one.
Let's get started.
Qua c'è qualcosa.
So for those of you watching at home or at the watch parties, you're like, why are we showing that? I put that in there because I'm eternally grateful for all of the CIG staff and developers who take the time to appear on these things.
Guarda qua,
ISE,
trovata.
CitizenCon, walk on stage, be pre-recorded. It's not the easiest thing for everybody. And on behalf of the community, if I can speak for them in this regard, I want to say thank you for participating in these things each and every year that we have them. Now, let's wrap things up here. So, let's see, how do I want to do this? At this point, we've only got
tutti sti detriti, vediamo se riusciamo a...
story left to tell. But before we do that, we wanted to do one more check-in
Questo che cazzo è?
on something
Un pezzo?
we started last year.
Prova a vedere se riusciamo a prendere sto pezzo qua. Ah no, è un'altra nave. Un Avenger Titan a tocchi, sì. Aspira dentro questa intanto.
We're going to throw it to him and we're going to go to our last segment, and when we come back we'll say our goodbyes, and if you're at a watch party, it's time to get... I was going to say, that's not a word I can say on camera. Let's just throw it back to me. Go to me from 1 week ago.
Aspetta che tiro, che veggio.
disintegration, giusto?
Sì.
Last year, Senior Game Director Rich Tyler took to the stage.
Sì, sì, ma serve solo per levarla dalle scatole.
Now,
Perché...
before we end this year's CitizenCon Direct, we wanted to take a few moments and follow up on that reveal from last year, to do as we've done today and look at the year ahead. So, Rich, thanks for taking the time to join us.
Well, you're welcome.
All right, so we're going to jump right into it. Everybody knows the only constant in game development is change. So I'm going to ask you outright, what's changed about the road to
Questa no, guys, scudi.
Fortunately, nothing. It still remains our North Star. The team is busy working towards that goal in the background, and every patch this year
Aspetta un attimo che non risto.
And if you haven't watched the Star Citizen 1.0 presentation from last year,
Da davanti, da di qua.
because everything in it is still relevant.
184
You mentioned every patch this year has moved us towards that goal, so I want to dig deeper into that. We've done at this point 9 releases in this year, more than any year prior. How does each one of these not just sit as their own moment in time, but move us forward on this road to 1.0?
Well, last year I discussed the framework of 1.0, how all those complex systems can tie together. And one of the core aspects of that was the main story, which became the spine of the universe, which brought all of the locations, mission givers, guilds, and all the different areas of the game to the players. Now, what I didn't talk about from last year was all of the content that was going to support that framework.
Bisogna svuotarla adesso.
Should we say? And I think that's where this year was moved us towards that goal. If you think about previous events of previous years,
perché non siamo a 2.40.
locations that we put into the verse, but they've been transient. We've taken them away, like Siege of Orison or Zenith Threat.
Tanto vado a vuotare sta roba, aspetta mi metto il casco.
And I think with the addition of the patches this year, when you look at the Hathor facilities, Onyx facility, these are permanent additions to the world that not only have their own story, as when we release them with the patches, but they'll also become points of interest and areas that the larger 1.0 narrative will utilize.
Since we're on story, I'm going to stay with this here. Since we launched the PU back in 2015, it's always been this sandbox where players can do what they want. They can bring their own story to the verse, and that'll never change. But how important is it that we also build this concurrent narrative of our own, this crafted experience, if you will, alongside that?
Well, we're trying to create a living, breathing universe. And that includes both the player stories that you mentioned, that they can go and enjoy and create their own memories together. But it also means that we want to have a universe that gives back. We want areas and locations to feel like they're believable and real-life locations. And if you look throughout this year and the patches that we've worked towards, we've had an overarching story that's moved from patch to patch, and we're going through some of those cycles right now. We've also been introducing mission content that has fully voiced dialogue and facial animation.
Permette un attimo, Marco.
Inject some of the meaning and the why to what you are doing as a player.
Perché se no me non mi faceva. Continuava ad aggiornarmi sempre dopo. Bom, vai, riprendi.
That ties all of these different complex systems together because it allows it takes players on that journey throughout the game.
To see this big turn this year to start injecting story in the verse, I think people are really responding to it.
Aspetta un attimo che tiro fuori almeno 2 o 3 casse che.
About how we operate and how we release things. How do you think that's gone?
I think it's gone
Che
very well.
sbodo con sto tractor beam della merda
The
di
mantra
Avoid.
that I've always been pushing this year at the beginning of January was patch always goes. And I think this year has seen a different development strategy for how we've been moving the game forward. That's where this different strategy has allowed us to really take a wider approach. And we also have to remember that Star Citizen is played by tens of thousands of players every day. And while we have lofty future goals, we still have to make decisions right now that make the game fun for the people that are playing it all the time, and playing it as their daily game. If you look at previous years, we've had to hold a patch back, we've had to make concessions, mainly due to around a feature may not have been ready or right to go into there.
There were 3 months, 4 months, sometimes 5 months between
Exactly,
patches.
and I don't think that's good for anybody. I don't think it's good for the players. I don't think it's good for the development team. I think it's better to have regular cadence of drops. One good example is this year for A Line of Mine. People probably don't know, but a line of mine, when you turned on the laser, it was actually supposed to reveal the sandworm Valakar. And I played it, and it didn't hit the quality that I wanted to go into the game. So we changed, and I took it out, and I made that decision alongside Chris and Erin, and we've held that back, and we're going to work on that towards a future patch. But I think definitely the more regular cadences has had multiple benefits. Like I said, I wanted to start right here, right now. Like, features are still being worked on quite heavily in the background. From radar and scanning, from FPS, the new quantum, to inventory, engineering.
Ti tractor grande, vero?
And all of those features are going to be coming very, very soon for players to get their hands on. And, you know, I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to sit here and say that if I was to go back to the start of the year, I would hope that we would have released more features. But I also think every decision we've made this year has been through the lens of making the live experience as stable and as good as possible.
Absolutely. All right, so that's a bit about the year before. And the year before has been, I've said this before, I've said it internally, I've said it out there, I'm going to say it right now again on camera. I think this has been the best year of Star Citizen ever, and I'm willing to look right into the camera and say that. The player numbers are up, engagement numbers are up, the length of the play sessions are up, bug numbers are down, 30K is gone. It's been a solid year. But CitizenCon isn't CitizenCon without talking about the future, so I want to move us to the future. We've talked about story, we've talked about this more diegetic, immersive universe and adding voice lines and stuff like this. But where do we go from here? Obviously that continues, but what more are we going to do to make this universe seem alive and real and breathing?
I think the biggest thing is to start having that conversation be two-way. So if you think about this year, like you mentioned, we've been having fully voiced NPCs, but a lot of those missions and those NPCs, they're talking at you. Right. You don't get to talk back to them. Now, obviously, you get to interact with them through your actions. You get to go and do their mission, and you get to move that along, and then they talk to you again. But it's a one-way conversation.
We're missing that conversation.
Exactly. The next part would be physical mission givers. That's something that we're going to be working towards very soon, with Battaglia being the first one coming back in the verse. And just to be clear, we will be bringing all the mission givers eventually back, and we want them to be an integral part of the verse and the story that players go and enjoy. We want the locations to be brought to life. As we mentioned last year, we want to have interactive scenes that you can go and be part of. And obviously the full end goal is towards, you know, to have cinematic stories in the game. And that is what we're going to be pushing towards. Everything we do, every decision we make is through the lens of moving us closer to 1.0. It might sometimes be difficult to see why those decisions have been made at the time they've been made, but rest assured that Star Citizen 1.0 is still our North Star. That's what we're still aiming towards, and that's what we're going to be moving forward with every patch next year as well.
And remembering when mission givers were first introduced, they sometimes became a bottleneck. Is there a role in instancing, which we learned about earlier today? Is there a role for instancing in that, in helping with mission givers?
Yes, partially. It will be one mechanism that will allow us to have players go to their own individual area of the verse, have that conversation, and then go and continue on into the open world environment. So I think that's where, when we look at instancing provides us one tool that allows us to remove that bottleneck and provide a more seamless experience.
Happy you said that, because that's one of our last topics I want to get to, is how we reconcile instancing with the persistent universe. Like, for the last 10 years now, we've been building this giant, seamless, persistent universe where everybody can come in and play together. And it would be easy to have a first instinct reaction to the idea of instancing and say that's antithetical to everything that Star Citizen. But you mentioned last year these three pillars of building Star Citizen in the PU, and I want to know, you said nothing changed, but I want to ask you about this specifically. What are those three pillars again, and how does instancing fit within the greater design of Star Citizen?
So the three pillars I mentioned last year were open world. That's just like the missions you love today. You can go and play, there's other players there, and you can go and enjoy that together. Then we have instancing, which I'll talk about more, but similar to municipal works that we've talked about previously. And then the third pillar was dynamic content, which would be content that's generated by the activities of the players. And I think it's very easy to become myopic around one specific thing when we're talking about it a lot, when it's the next stage of our development. And I think you could reverse it. If we'd have made a game that was all instance, and then I'd come on camera and said, hey guys, we're going to start doing it open world, it would be like, oh, is the game changing? Are we doing open world now? Is open world the new North Star that's going to take us this way? And it's not. It's just one more tool that's going to allow us to offer different and dynamic experiences for players to go and engage in. When I talk about instancing isn't always what you'd imagine as a solo instance experience where it's only just you. We're going to have several different versions of instances. Some are going to be closed instances, which will be like the new player experience. We'll be able for you to go in by yourself, for us to teach you the ropes in a safe environment so that you can understand how to play the complex game that we've made. But we'll also have open instances like a cantina or a bar where we might say, hey, we only want 50 people to come in here because we've got mission givers and we've got other NPCs for you to talk to, and you would just walk in and it would be seamless. You wouldn't know that there was an instance, it's not going to get a loading screen, you would just seamlessly walk into that location, it would be full of other players and NPCs, and you can go and enjoy the content. And that's, I think, something that instancing is going to provide us. It's going to give us a tool to offer different dynamic content, or curated content, as I'd say. It allows us to create experiences that are different to the open world experiences that we've already made.
L'ultima era da 8,
We
sì.
won't continue our open world development or only do instance content. It's going to be a mix. And like I said, this is one of the pillars that will move us towards 1.0. We will eventually work on dynamic content that will move us towards 1.0, and all three of those pillars will interweave to create the full Star Citizen experience.
All right, so we've hit a lot of the bigger topics, the feature work, engineering, and FPS crafting coming to tech preview soon. We talked about instancing and how that's going to work with the universe. But I want to ask you this one last big one. It's very easy to say Star Citizen is this kind of game and that kind of game. Those of us who spend our days making it know better. It's an everything game. It's everything we can make it game. It just is. But at the core of this is still spaceships. That life of spaceships. What more can you tell us about spaceship gameplay in the future? What can you give us? What can you tee up for us to look forward to for those of us who are really into Star Citizen for the spaceships?
Our intentions going forward are to make sure that every ship or ship archetype that you acquire has a role and has content that you can go and enjoy in the universe. For example, right now I know that we're working on more robust mining missions, more robust salvage missions. We're going to be working on refueling missions. And we want to make sure that each and every one of the ship has a purpose and has a reason to exist in the game. That's from the smallest Argo MPUV, as well as ground vehicles, all the way up to the large capital ships. We want to give them purpose.
No, il tractor, ti sposti.
We are absolutely aware of.
Si dia muoversi adesso.
Building that spectrum of content to allow players to go and engage in. And I think 2026 is going to be a very good year for Star Citizen. And I think there's going to be something that's very interesting and something that a lot of people have been waiting for. But rather than me spoil it, I'll let Ian and the team go into the details on that.
Get a twinkle in his eye. Ian, take it away.
So the persistent universe has existed for over 10 years now. During that time, we've created lots of gameplay systems, we've added hundreds of locations, we've added lots of mission activities for different purposes: combat, cargo, mining, salvaging. But for combat ships, the only thing you've been able to do is fight other combat ships. In 2026, this changes. We're going to be delivering a spaceship-focused activity space which incentivizes the use of different gameplay roles, these are going to be scenarios where you're going to have to plan and strategize and create operational tactics to overcome your objective. So what you're going to see is very early. It's early in the pipeline process, and it's going to come online about mid next year. But we're really excited about the content we're creating, so we want to share with you a super early look at what we're building in a space we're calling Tactical Strike Groups.
Ah, sì. Adesso c'è poi l'ultimo tocco sotto. Vediamo se arrivo. Ancora.
The People's Alliance are still trying to get to the bottom of what this new faction is really doing in the Nyx system.
They've sent a capital ship to check out a station and run it into more than they can take care of themselves.
Unfortunately, that team came under attack and members of their groups were taken hostage. Now they've reached out to Intersec, who've reached out to you to help recover the pilot. Of course, it's unwise to do this alone, so you'll need to put a team together to attack the station.
When you arrive, you will have this big asteroid, broken asteroid, and on this you will have this space where you will find 3 big arms. You will see in the middle, you will have this big energy core. Everything here has a purpose. It's not just for the show, just something nice to see.
You'll see a People's Alliance-owned Idris that's just on the outside, and it's going to be getting harassed by this unknown faction that you have met before.
So your first objective here is to clear out the ships. There'll be waves of these ships, so this is where you'll want your light or your medium or your heavy fighters, whichever playstyle you prefer.
So while one part of your group is dealing with the fighters, now it's time to actually assault the station.
This station has been outfitted to resist all of the obvious way of attacks.
Somehow they've incorporated Vanduul capital ship killing turrets. These turrets ignore small fighters, and they have the firepower to destroy even the biggest capital ships.
Ah, wow.
Your Polaris and your
Torrette che distruggono le Polaris. Poi.
The idea of these is so we can sort of make it so we can mix up that ship combat, and not everyone can just bring the biggest ship and win just because they have the biggest ship.
You have to send out your best pilots to navigate the superstructure and take down anything that may damage your bigger ships. So at this point you're thinking, destroy the turrets.
Good.
But it's not that easy. This turret has shields that you've never seen before. It won't take any kind of damage. Your missiles won't do anything, your lasers won't do anything, your ballistics won't do anything to them.
Oh.
But like everything, they do have a weakness. You have to cut the power to their shields. To do that, that actually brings you to your first objective, the power relays.
Ah, per battere che torrette non prendono danno, devi levargli la potenza, tipo.
And you have to destroy them. But it may not be as easy as it seems.
Here's our first wrinkle. The power relays have their own shields that are resistant to energy-based attacks.
We know how much you like using laser repeaters, but so do these guys.
The capital ship can't get close enough because of the turrets.
So ships with explosives.
Mi sposto di nuovo, un altro più giù, ancora più giù.
That's torpedo ships like your Retaliator or Gladiator, or even another fighter with ballistics loadout. That's going to take you a while.
Io ho fatto 2,40 più 2,20.
Once the power relays have been taken down, the station opens up.
And this is where things get really cool.
Now it's time for you to fly your ship inside the station.
Yeah, you.
Sì, che ci sarebbero anche tutti sto processed food qua che sborda avendo AC2, veramente se portaremo via anche tutta sta roba.
Però guardate, forse il 300 scud.
Ah, 300 a scud. Sì, vabbè, però che sbordo, dice tutti container da 16, porca troia. Cioè da 32 sono. Guarda che sono tanti, Riempi la C2 con quello.
Si può fare sempre un salto?
Sì. Potremmo dare la torre. Sai che non posso starmi qua.
Ma adesso finita questa, aspirata questa, e torniamo Horizon.
Non è che despawnano i container.
Perché? Ah, quando la spiri dici? Perché la devo spawnare?
Ah, non lo so.
Non sono... cioè non fanno parte della nave che sono attaccati.
No, non despona, non nel senso che despawnano quando... A parte che ce ne sono di attaccati, se guardi. Bisognerebbe staccarli tutti.
Despawnano o non despawnano perché sono qua.
Quelli attaccati sarebbe da staccarli, per dirti.
Ok. Per staccarli potrei usare anche una capsula di questa.
Sì.
Once the power core goes down, the turrets come down, and then the capital ships can get closer. Why is that important? Because during all of this, you spend a lot of ammo and munitions and ballistics, and you're going to want to top up.
This is where we're going to get our new feature in, ship hangar refueling and rearming. You're going to be able to land in the hangar of select ships and be able to use the same interface as you are right now at stations to refuel and rearm.
It's specifically for ships like the Idris and the Polaris and other ships that are designed to have other ships land inside them.
Of course, it'll be more than just those two ships, and you'll find out more once we get closer to release. But this is a
Mi sto posizionando, vai tranquillo.
If you're not bringing your own Idris, the People's Alliance has a Idris there that...
Ah, che sei una nave che gira intorno. Che cazzo di nave è? ZTR, una Atlas. Ascolta,
che se ne spara, che sboccia e torrente la sfasciano.
No, più che altro dovremmo noi sfasciarla questa.
So while the fighters are protecting the Idris, what's happening at the station?
Well, that's where the dropships
No, perché sennò ci perchiamo il crime stat e arrivano le taglie. Vediamo cosa fa, magari quanta via.
Enemies that belong to this unknown faction, and you've got to open a hangar door which will allow you to release captives from the station. After you've opened the doors and that person's taken off, you've just got to make sure they get to safety.
Ma che sboro, adesso l'aggiornamento del firmware della stampante in figato mare.
Che senso?
Sì.
Del computer.
Cioè, della stampante mia, Dio porca. Se è andata via, ma vaffanculo, cioè.
The Van Duel neighbors who really don't like these guys for some reason will come in and wreak havoc on everything.
And they're not going to discriminate between you.
Adesso mi fa crashare il computer, sta merda. Dai, Dio can, muoviti.
By destroying the power core that the station's now vulnerable, you're on a time limit. Vandal are coming, they're going to come hard, they're going to keep coming, you're going to have one hell of a fight.
Oh, dai, sta morto. Dai, aspirata? No, è qua. Non la vedevo più. È andata via la Atlas.
Ok, continua a scappare allora.
No, aspiriamole, andiamo via, sì.
Ora?
Ci hanno spottati, quindi aspiriamo. Tanto che avevamo già abbastanza ciccin.
I'm personally so invested in this. So throughout 2025, we created a variety of content. Some of it was very focused
adesso che la speriamo dovremmo essere anche al massimo in teoria.
Driving a more vehicle-based experience was very important to me.
Quanto abbiamo dentro i filler adesso?
20 cosa abbiamo?
Svodo ora.
No, siamo giù. No, è 180, quindi ci stiamo.
Ah, ok.
17, quindi sì, ci stiamo.
Oh, e ora rimango al posto di guida che si arriva a Chidoni.
E non me lo dà perché forse non è in coso.
Lei ci dovrebbe dare power on rosso.
and scenarios to clear objectives and complete missions
E cosa
in a variety of roles.
faccia gli scudi
And in the
accesi?
future, we can use this to expand on.
No,
So
secondo me
you're
non
all
c'ha gli
just
scudi
as
accesi,
excited
però non
as I
è
am for
ancora
tactical
proprio in
strike
soft
groups.
death.
They're gonna be fantastic.
Cioè non riesco neanche a loccarla perché sta roba. Provo a distruggerla.
Okay. Why do you still have the puppet? John, come home. All right, so tactical strike groups. You know, it's been a long road for the last 10 years. The PU's been around. We've done lots to build stuff for mining ships and for salvage ships, and as Rich said, we're currently building out even more for those, and our first refueling missions coming online in 2026. But combat missions. Oh, hi. Aaron Roberts. Aaron Roberts. But finally having enough of the foundation in place that we can begin to build real spaceship operations. Hesitate, you know, in any other MMO they've called dungeons. It's really exciting for me, and that's why we're ending the show this year with that. So yeah, that's been CitizenCon Direct. Thank you for taking the time to share this with us. Again, this is just a glimpse at some of what's coming in 2026. I've seen the Twitch chat and the YouTube chat like, oh, you're spoiling everything. I promise, we ain't. So before we let you go, that's it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as with every CitizenCon, the last word shouldn't be mine. It should belong to our founders and CEO. So take it away, Chris Roberts.
I hope you enjoyed this glimpse into some of what the team is cooking for the near future. Of course, we're not going to spoil everything that's currently in progress, and many features we haven't discussed today are in active development, like base building, social, and trade tools that are very much a priority. These, along with bringing the final polished features from Squadron 42 into the persistent universe, will make next year the most exciting yet for Star Citizen. Finally, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to everyone at CIG for working so tirelessly and with so much passion to deliver something that is already special and will only get more so as we continue. And of course, to all of you.
Vabbè, ma io c'ho 4 size 3.
We couldn't do this without all of you, something that I and the team appreciate every day. We are very lucky to be allowed to
Ottima introdotta anche a te.
all of our dreams. Something that is only more apparent as the video game business becomes more monolithic. We are one of the few large independents left standing, and there is no way we will be allowed to dream as big as we are on an original game and take the time to achieve that dream if we are part of
Provo a scansionarla prima.
mega game companies. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing you all in the verse this coming year.
Adesso non mi fai neanche sparare. C'è un server error. Ah, c'è un'altra nave. Abbiamo una nave.
Aglia. Che non sia cazzo di Catras di prima. Porca troia, dove cazzo è qua? Chi se c'è nello torrente? Che minchia è il pulsante di on?
Cioè, è scomparsa la nave.
Quale?
No, possibile. No, no, è qua, è qua.
Oh, ma non funzionano le torrette.
Non funzionano?
Non
Ah
mi
no,
cambia
aspetta, perché già ero in nave adesso. Adesso prova.
No, non ho sono i tasti per accenderle?
No, e ora ti ga... Allora, che cazzo è questa? C'è un'altra... C'è un'altra... Avenger Titan.
Ah, eccola qua. Trovata. Boh. Boh, adesso sparo. Vediamo.
Tu riesci a loccarla? Perché neanche non la vede, tipo. Come se non ci...
Ma neanche io prima, sai, non me la dava quando ero passato.
Prova.
Non la vedo.
Dove ti sei?
Vedo soltanto le casse davanti, quindi dovrebbe essere davanti proprio ho un pilone davanti, con una zampetta davanti che mi ostruisce la visuale.
Cambia torretta. Aspetta che è finita.
Abbiamo tutti la Polaris, andiamo a fare bunker in 250. Abbiamo tutti la Polaris, se parti alle 8 arrivi alle 2:40. Con questa astronave puoi farci le gare, andare a pesca oppure a ravanare. Puoi sentirti forte e indistruttibile, puoi taccare il cazzo all'inverosimile. Puoi fare il pilota, ora detto al facchinaggio, puoi vendere affettate testicoli di scarafaggio. Puoi combattere 1000 battaglie, uscirne indenne, puoi come combattere contro un barbone inerme. Abbiamo tutti la Polaris, andiamo a fare i bunker in 250. Abbiamo tutti la Polaris, se parti alle 8 arrivi alle 2:40.
Boh, che so.
Vuoi mettere la gioia che ti dà usarla, metterci un quarto d'ora dalla plancia all'hangar, avere un solo uomo per i siluri che costano un fottio, credi a me. Quando siamo tanti la cosa si fa seria, tutti comandanti, tutti in carriera. Meglio l'Andromeda che per quanto schifo fa, nessuna ardua
Non ho il mirino.
Poi abbiamo tutti la Polaris, andiamo a fare i bunker in 250. Abbiamo tutti la Polaris, se parti alle 8 arrivi alle 2:40.
Non ho proprio il mirino, cazzo.
È strano, per me si è buggata.
Cioè. Vabbè, dai. Sono le 11:30. Direi che potremmo anche andare. Addio nave.
Addio nave.
Abbiamo tutti la Polaris, andiamo a fare i bunker in 250. Abbiamo tutti la Polaris, se parti alle 8 arrivi alle 2:40.
Vabbè, 66, 95, 69, sarà un 110 delle cycle.
Sì, dai, comunque non è una serata da buttare.
No, 110 del cycle e un 400 di costrazione.
Comunque non hanno parlato della Perseus, hai visto?
Ma è finito?
Finirà disintegrato per mano mia.
ma passa di lato, quasi tutto
Scoppiato ed intento ad andare via.
Questa è la battaglia di anarchia, con una squadra di matti da buttare via. Come una scheggia penetra nella tua nave, come il vuoto spaziale non ti fa respirare. Questa è la battaglia di anarchia, con una squadra di matti da buttare via. Come una scheggia penetra nella tua nave, come il vuoto spaziale non ti fa respirare. L'adrenalina sale, devo soleggiare, ma il casino è tanto e non la vedo più. Ma appena giro il capo vedo lì di lato il portellone agognato tirato su. Caso un po' di lato vado giù con
Gli Sbronzoid, bene, dai.
poi con una spinta mi lancio su. Per culo riesco a dare, non so più che aspettare. Comincio a pregare il caro Dio Visnu. In braccio la mia arma, mi dirigo verso gli hangar, ma la nave è sponata e nel culo l'ho pigliata. Questa è la battaglia di anarchia, con una squadra di matti da buttare via. Come una scheggia penetra nella tua nave, come il vuoto spaziale non ti fa respirare. La delusione è tanta, risuona nella stanza e richiamo indietro la mia compagnia. Pian piano
più
mi
un
riprendo in torretta
700 di
ci
700.000
prepariamo ad andare via.
di
Questa volta è
construction.
andata, non in ritirata.
Flying Paladin right now.
L'intento è sempre
Qui ha detto
quello,
uno.
cercare un portello e
Mio
buttare
senso.
tutto in avanti. Questa è la
Gente che l'aveva già
battaglia di
comprata.
anarchia, con una squadra di matti da buttare via.
Figa rilasciata.
La Paladin.
Sì.
La delusione è tanta, risuona nella stanza e richiamo indietro la mia compagnia. Pian piano mi riprendo, in torretta salgo, ci prepariamo ad andare via. Questa volta è andata, non in ritirata.
Adesso cos'è che vendi direttamente dalla nave?
Dalla nave? Un cazzo.
Non potevi vedere direttamente qualcosa?
Se era tutto attaccato al grid bene bene.
Una squadra di matti da buttare via. Come una scheggia penetra nella tua nave, come il vuoto spaziale non ti fa respirare. Bevi, bevi, bevi.
Bevi, bevi, bevi. Bevi, bevi, bevi.
Bevi, bevi, la Crux Lux. Tagla
Con la grappa, brischiala alla sambuca.
fatti un sciuttino.
Con la tequila,
Prendila con
l'aspirina.
fatti pure un twistere.
Con la crux crux ti spalli bene. Bevi, bevi, bevi.
Bevi, bevi, bevi. Bevi, bevi, bevi. Bevi, bevi, la Crux Lux. Quando la vomiti, la puoi ribere, non scade mai e ti puoi fare le pere. La Crux Lux ti dà un enorme piacere. Wow, wow, oh. Bevi,
Bevi, bevi.
bevi, bevi, bevi. Bevi, bevi, bevi. Bevi, bevi, la Crux Lux. Se vai in ospedale, i dottori sanno che fare. Ti dà l'estrema unzione e in poche ore vai al creatore, ma il tuo corpo non si decompone. Bevi, 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 bevi.
Bevi, bevi, bevi. Vado, torno all'ascensore da Drio. Sì, scendi pure da questo qua davanti e dopo adesso vado a prendermi il tractor beam grande e tacco a buttare fuori le casse e ti volti di cassi dentro con l'Atlas.
Allora vince.
A voglia.
Ah, a voglia.
La Crux Lux.
Pa, 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 pa. Pa, 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 pa. Pa, 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 pa.
Quando la vomiti, la puoi ribere, non scade mai
e ti puoi fare le pere.
La Crux Lux ti dà
un enorme piacere.
Wow, wow, oh. Bevi, 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 la Crux Lux.
Ah, class, dove sei? Ciao.
Già.
Ah, sì, trovo.
Squadra Sbronzoid,
Squadra Sbronzoid,
non lo dimentica, fissa incredulo ti caderesti gli occhi, ciò che vedi ti irrita quasi lo rigetti, senti un torpore che ti attanaglia, una sensazione
di cui squaglia,
un brivido gelato al pistacchio, un orrido disgusto ghiacciato, una sfitta trasversale di tipo anale, uno sputo micidiale in riva al mare.
Ah, ma sei la sono rimasto qua.
sì.
Ah, skin.
Sì, qua skin. Non mi ricordo che versione mi abbia data che skin.
Un meteorismo di alto rango, un movimento un po' scusciante, si fa strada tra le
Mi adesso sono da parte del cuore.
Di là sei davanti. Devi andare dietro.
Se la dico che si
Beh. Ti dimentica. Ora metto. E dopo averli uditi. Per denunciarli, chiama sotto per soccorrerli, chiama anche tua nonna che faccia da mangiare, chiama anche tua mamma che la voglia scopare. Squadra Sbronzoida. Non lo dimentica.
È il magazzino.
Il magazzino.
che piano piano ti portano via. La fortuna ed il malocchio, un controllo della prostata col botto. Boom boom bam, squadra Sbronzoid. Boom boom bam, squadra Sbronzoid. Boom boom bam, squadra Sbronzoid. Non lo dimentico, scarperanno il piffero.
Ok. Che sia un fiantino ed è 5, solo che un poco. Da avere un amplesso si depilano i coglioni. Panga al cesso sta schifezza. Boom boom bam, squadra Sbronzoid. Scusa, bravo. Ah, questa mi piace da mattimi in versione con la voce di Giusy Ferderi, sembra.
Ricontrolla la scansione.
2000 litri distillati e liquore. Quasi me ne prendo qualche litro.
Apro la stiva e grido inorridito. Pezzi di feci
Attaccati alle pareti. Il vento è una scritta sul muro. Culo. Una nave alla deriva. Allerta, allerta. Una nave alla deriva. Allerta, allerta. Una nave alla deriva. Scappa. No, No. Ok.
Tutte ste feci 4 uomini non le possono fare. Ne trovo uno vivo ma non riesce a parlare. Mette strani suoni simili al gutturale.
Perchetto. Croce, croce, croce.
Sei Rip Pepperons.
Rip Pepperons.
Gli altri due nebbie hanno riempito la stanza. Pareti, strumenti e pilota di una viscida sostanza. Penso sia meglio di scappare di corsa. E la squadra Sbronzoid dopo una stronza. Allerta,
Allerta, una nave alla deriva. Allerta, allerta, una nave alla deriva. Allerta, allerta, una nave alla deriva. Scrappa le maffe, non aprire la stiva. Una nave alla deriva.
allerta, allerta. Una nave alla deriva. Allerta, allerta.
Una nave alla deriva. Scrappa le maffe, non aprire la stiva. Il capitano One non c'è più, ci ha lasciati reclaimer quassù. Dopo CitizenCon non vuol più giocare. No, oh, no. Missioni per simulare due sfottuti soldoni per fare tutta la tua nave. Robertino, l'abbiamo appena visto Robertino in tutta la sua magnificenza di uomo noce. Pigliato pure in affitto, pure
Sei perso tra pyro e Stanton a fare mille missioni contro bug e coglioni. Serve errore.
devi fare. Oh, container di merda, volevano uccidermi. Oh, scemo di me.
No, questa cassa non vuole venire da me. Si è incollata per terra. No. No. Guarda che fai belli.
No, ma comunque che se problemi perché secondo me che ha aggiornato il negozio tipo, e quindi che ha messo i navi, quindi sarà da fare sicuramente un update, quindi siamo di giocare proprio per opera dello Spirito Santo. Potesse che la sua natura di un uomo forma di noce, mille pere, mille missioni, due fottuti soldoni, tutta la tua nave, ma Robertino è pronto a wipeare.
Adesso stranamente più non la vedi. Ora è di Roberto, prima paghi e poi ricevi.
Fare mille missioni, due fottuti soldoni.
50 mia
Hai i crediti quei dei Wikelo?
No, su Twitch.
Ah, che va a cambiare anche la valuta perché prima già era in palme.
Adesso si invire.
Adesso lo mettiamo in, non so,
Cetrioli.
cetrioli.
Disturboiattoli.
Dai cazzo. Ok. No, sì, guarda che roba. Sì, sì.
Sì. E cazzo che si compenetra.
Sì, sì. Aspetta che adesso è me coppa, ti vedrà. Guarda. Una mi sembra già scomparsa. Ah no, ok. Ecco, si stanno ribellando. Aiuto! Aiuto! La rivolta delle casse. Perché non mi fa saltare? Ah, perché sono bloccato. Porca troia. Ok. Fuori. Oh.
Non mi fa prendere le... Ah, questa qua l'ha presa. Ok. Ce n'è una che non me la fa prendere.
Vabbè, dai, pace per quella. Per il tuo momento. Porco Dio. Ho fatto cadere. Ah, perché ha tirato. C'era una cassa. No, sono dentro la cassa. Sono in cassa con tutto.
Sarà morto, no.
Dio porco. Aspetta che la sposto fuori così. Dovrei riuscire a spostarmi. No. Scusa, sono curioso di vedere in F4 come sono messo. Ma perché non si alza? Robertino! Cioè, Dio porco, ti vuol fare cosa qua? No, aspetta che ho...
Ti arruffiarichi poi usando l'ingegno, sperando che nascondendoti tra i migliori tu possa somigliare a chi hai contro coglioni.
Ma ce n'è un'altra anche.
Perché sei un cesso, non migliorerai mai, povero fesso, assomigli solo ad uno sputo rettale, viscido squallido, fai solo cagare. La squadra sbronzoid ha un solo.
Sì, ma ti ho detto. Se riesco a uscire da qua bisogna che usciamo e facciamo l'aggiornamento, mi sa.
L'uomo che aveva il potere di spostare le casse da dentro una cassa.
Sì, no, ma di solito ti te sposti da sotto, in due a cassa ti Pio. Ah, forse... Fammi passare. No. No. Oh, c'è l'ascensore. Ecco. Ecco. Ho fatto un po' di strada. Ok, adesso dovrebbe essere più facile. Guarda. Guarda che mi sposto. Bella, sono uscita. Vabbè, ributto su queste già che so. Di stronzate improvvise.
L'uomo che suona niente, il gioco più non parte, non capisco niente. Stiamo fermi per un'ora a fissare lo schermo. Se non fosse per un fratello faremo ancora quello. Devi scaricare una patch che non puoi vedere. Devi fare verify, come cazzo si può sapere? Il Roberto spazio industria dai, fai le cose per bene. Ringalluzziti dall'aver compiuto la prima missione, quella di avviare il gioco dopo 2 ore.
Adesso mi metto sull'altro mouse perché mi manca il tra rotellina.
Ah, adesso mi pare sia tornata a funzionare. Proviamo ad andare avanti, dai.
Facciamo un evento, scappiamo e andiamo al mare, anche perché non che ci sia tanto da fare. Questo gioco è un po' più per maniaci, in senso buono credo, un 75% sì. Poi come sempre ci trovi chiunque, anche due sbronzi che vomitano ovunque. Con dedizione proviamo sempre a migliorare. Dalla birra al vino si può sempre cambiare. Basta non mescolare tanto le due cose, anche se poi finisce in spunciotti grappa di rose.
Cazzo, ma
Ma se un face stabile è il server. Star Citizen. Di stronzate. Solo su Star Citizen. Di stronzate. Sempre.
Vieni qua, maledetta.
Con gli sbronzoid tu non dormirai, se solo provi sai già che fine fai. Lo stroboiato si impegna, la fetamina lo governa e non dormiranno mai.
Esplore, ma sa chi ha disattivato la nuova possibilità di riprodurre YouTube tramite il bot?
Ma sì,
Sì.
basta, ne dura cosa.
Ah, no, 10 giorni. YouTube merda anche loro.
Devi pagare.
Ma neanche.
Ormai YouTube sta morendo.
Morendo, insomma, dai.
Sopravvive. Che fame, dai, dopo mi faccio dove il panino. Spinaci.
La fetamina lo governa. Via sta. Vado al salvage processing.
No.
Tu non dormirai. Che fine fai? Anfetamina lo governa. Oh, lo so anche senza voce. Donde mai dirgli morti a Robertina. Chi ti è muerto, Robertina? Non dormirai. Chi ti è morto? No. Sistema sta nave, Robertina, maledetto.
Sono avanti in gioco queste porte a camera che ora se la notte ma cadere di coglioni.
Ciao Bangla.
Ciao.
Corrutto. Questo è mortalità.
Vai via. Io non vendi questo.
Che cosa vuoi per cena? Vita preponderante.
Io non vendo questo.
E non vende questo. Puoi pagare con carta. Usa bancomatto. Bancomatto. Vai via. Vai via. Vai via. No, vai via.
L'uomo in castigo.
È quello che c'era sconto in castigo.
Mi fa più ridere i commenti sotto che...
Cioè, beh, tante volte c'è più divertenti i commenti. Dove trova sti server il bro? Ciao Bangla. E Armando di Uber?
No, Armando.
Armando. Amedeo, no.
Amedeo!
Amedeo. Che sboro. Il tocco meglio che l'Amedeo. Mi ha fatto morire. Ma io proprio tranquillo. Che entra uno in macchina. Io tranquillissimo proprio.
Che povero c'era appena svegliato. La testa infilata dentro la panza. Con che foto che ha fatto proprio con che faccia.
Sì.
Col nasone.
E pareva tipo una specie di caricatura, tipo un film da un cartone animato
Sì,
up,
sai
tipo.
cartone up, esatto,
Sì.
il nonno col naso grande.
Esatto.
Addio. Amedeo, com'è? Amedeo!
Sparagli. Sparagli.
Sto aspettando mia moglie che viene fuori dal comune.
Vedo di ogni potenza con l'FS9.
Ecco, chega a pagare un lascio. Ma quanto mi hanno provato?
Con il P6LR.
Parati. Se è possibile. Adesso mi tocca smontare e rimontare.
Sparagli, non te ne pentirai. In testa in culo dai. Non vacillare mai. Quel brivido di ogni potenza. Sparagli. Col permafrost. Executive. C'è il piotto, E lo sturboiatto piace solo sul cazzo di cannone. Non te ne pentirai. Testa in culo dai. Non vacillare mai. Quel brivido. Oh, dove vai? No. Merda. Container imbizzarrito. Vacillare mai. Quel brivido di ogni potenza. Si incastra. No, ecco. Oh, no. Ciao, Banglo. Sparagli, non te ne pentirai. Non vacillare mai. Il brivido di ogni potenza. Sparagli, non te ne pentirai. Mamma mia. Siamo tutti desfai. Santa Maria. Passimi il vino. Con malvasia. Espulsiamo de Maria. Os gatti. E beve come dei corne. e mangia come le capre e spusa come calzetti, anche quando i zenetti ci si imbriago marzo, so che starghe accanto. 4 bosgatti pasti i beve come dei corne e usa come calzetti, anche quando i zennetti a te si imbriago marzo. No, ma il cesso proprio della Cutlass nuova col secchio mi ha fatto svolare proprio.
Un seggio per la mandina, un seggio per la cesso.
Cesso dei Mureri.
Sì, belle però cazzo, troppo stile Pyro l'ho fatto.
Sì, infatti tutto stile Pyro. Invece mi piace tanto stile tipo Microtech, Horizon, Crusader in generale. Anche vabbè Hardcore per carità.
Ah, guarda sta cassa del mezzo. Ma vieni qua.
Oh mamma mia, siamo tutti de spy, Santa Maria. Muto e passami il vino, tu siamo de Maria.
Beh dai, siamo a buon punto.
Sì, sì, non manca molto. I Nasa e Scorese.
Nasa scorretta.
Mamma mia, siamo tutti de spa, Santa Maria. Muto e passami il vino. Cazzo, già da un bel colpo anche a quella comunque. Però ora che appecciava chissà 300k a volta construction material, non so se riusciremo a venderlo.
Crisi prima di
Da patch nuova.
Ma sì, uno al giorno, uno oggi no. Uno te lo fa adesso.
Adesso vendiamo il recycle, che in realtà quello forse riusciamo a venderlo tutto in botta. Ma perché anche non credo che abbia scrappato nessuno. La produci tutta te. Fa paura. E senza burger. Osteria di Green Max. No, Xantiax. Pazzesco.
Allora, com'è andato su CitizenCon Cons?
È uscita la Paladin.
La Shiv.
Esatto. Ah, hai già visto in...
Sono entrato adesso praticamente. Stavo guardando Paladin, Shiv e lo Stinger.
C'è. E la Cutlass reworkata tipo.
Bravo. Sì, alla fine è una Cutlass reworkata, guarda. Che cazzo di pacco. È andata così, ragazzi, è andata così.
Sì. E invece la
Sì?
La Perseus proprio, neanche nominata.
Neanche nominati. Pacconi di merda, bastardi.
Mangia pizza tra le...
Ma sta Paladin com'è?
Come?
Sta Paladin com'è?
Sembra proprio bella in realtà.
Non ho visto nessuna, se c'è qualcuno che ha fatto già qualche...
La Paladin è quella che hanno mostrato prima.
C'è.
Un bestione corazzato.
Sì.
Ah, sei stupenda.
Rule number 1 playing this game.
Vediamolo un po'.
Perché è Masterchef?
È una bomba che
La produce
cattiveria pura.
Butta fuori sta roba.
Last month been pretty hectic in terms of vehicle deliveries. I think we've delivered the most we've ever done in a 12-month period.
Oddio, guarda che ascensore.
Yeah, it's nice to start with some more catalog and some of the bigger trips. I think my the aesthetics again, the Wolf was kind of
Noi mangiamo smorcia all'osteria di Green Max.
just shows off that German aesthetic, giving you the absolute thing. I honestly do really like it.
difficile da decifrare, non ti percuote, ti rivolta e poi ti sodomizerà. Un gioco anale ti fa diventare dopo uno scontro. L'ultima cosa che vuoi è il suo incontro. Ma con un sunset vilipendio si ingegna il contrabbando, si muove ciondolando il suo grosso capuccion. Si sente come un dio, affronterà il suo io, è ancora più spietato lui di libera.
Ma quindi tu non l'hai visto il CitizenCon? Come?
No, ero a mangiare fuori con la famiglia.
Ah,
quindi
ok.
sto vedendo tutto adesso in anteseconda.
Ti hanno parlato di Nix, ho visto.
Ma hanno fatto vedere qualche immagine di Nix?
Assolutamente sì. E anche del pianeta nuovo che stanno facendo. Fighissimo.
Il pianeta nuovo dove?
Sempre in Nix.
Ah, ok.
Ci sono 3 pianeti lì.
Ottimo. 2, 4, 6, 8.
Cosa?
8 cannonazzi c'ha puntati di fronte.
Sì.
Quanto sono? Che size sono?
Bello grande. Però è poco manovrabile.
Ok.
Il contro è quello che...
Sarà un mattone, lo vedo. Ah, c'è anche le chiusure davanti, praticamente.
È una bestia quella, un toro.
Separatie. Dei missilazzi sotto, forse anche dei torpedo.
No, torpedo, dai, che sbordo. Possibile.
Ho visto dei missili grossi. Ma dai, la cosa si sposta di sotto.
C'è tipo quella della Scorpius.
Ultimo il momento eterno che l'inferno anticipa, quell'ultimo sospiro che dura una vita tipica, fatta di eccesso, scorribande, pulirsi le mutande, fatta di guerre, uccisioni e visite urologiche ai coglioni.
Tutto rinizia.
Ma dietro ci sta roba su sta palla.
No, c'ha lateralmente mi pare qualche scudi di carico, ma poca roba.
Ah, quindi non puoi portare altri mezzi e cose, vero?
pennone.
Ma proprio in quel momento vedi un'ombra, senti un lamento. È quel bastardo del tuo compagno di squadra che invece di infilarti la penna nel posto giusto, poco delicatamente nell'ano te la c'è infilata di gusto. E fu così che da quel giorno l'hai usata sempre in quel posto, durante battaglie o lotte in pigiama, durante una partita di dama, al battesimo della sorella, alla visita dal dentista. Questa pennetta dello scoiattolo viola, qualcosa di magico, qualcosa di droga. Tutto riparte, tutto rinizia, nella tua mente c'è solo abbastanza, dentro la penna c'era sostanza di qualità. Tutto riparte, tutto rinizia, nella tua mente c'è solo abbastanza, dentro la penna c'era sostanza di qualità, di qualità. Tutto riparte, tutto rinizia, nella tua mente c'è solo abbastanza, dentro la penna c'era sostanza di qualità, di qualità.
Finito?
Adesso devo tirare fuori l'ultimo da stampante.
Non ce posso vedere.
It's really complementary to some of the other ships in the Apple lineup, so it's like the Valkyrie, big dropship, to make sure it's safe, make sure no one messes with you, just basically stay in the way.
È praticamente un Asgard più da combattimento.
Sì.
Senza il carico però.
Sì.
Sì, è cazzatina questa qua, perfetto. Anche perché se sono 8 cannoni, almeno size 4 mi sembra.
Cioè, sì, è devastante.
Deve essere veramente un delirio girare questa roba qua. Non ho capito perché c'ha 2 sedute nel cockpit di sopra e 2 nel cockpit di sotto. Cioè, praticamente 4 sedili.
Comunque il pilota dovrebbe avere 4 size 4, quindi la puoi usare anche tranquillamente, mi pare.
Da solo.
Sì.
Okay, let's continue our walkthrough. Let's see
Ok.
where we can go right here.
Finito.
There's something here.
Bene, sì. Lo spazzetto. Questa.
Tutto riparte, tutto rinizia, c'è solo fattanza.
This is the one shield generator, size 3. Only one.
Tutto rinizia, nella tua mente c'è solo abbastanza, dentro la penna c'era sostanza di qualità, di qualità. Ridi pagliaccio su una nave di merda stai, ridi perché sai che molto presto scoppierai, ridi di questa giornata funesta in tempesta che sovrasta la vista della tua carcassa. Ultimo il momento eterno che l'inferno anticipa, quell'ultimo sospiro che dura una vita tipica, fatta di eccessi, scorribande, pulirsi le mutande, fatta di guerre, uccisioni e visite urologiche ai coglioni. Tutto riparte, tutto rinizia, nella tua mente c'è solo abbastanza, dentro la penna c'era sostanza di qualità, di qualità. Ti fermi a pensare che saresti morto comunque, fegato reni erano alla fine del tunnel, colonne e retto se ne erano andati da tempo, per non parlare della cataratta così spessa e opaca. Ma proprio in quel momento vedi un'ombra, senti un lamento, è quel bastardo del tuo compagno di squadra che invece di infilarti la penna nel posto giusto, poco delicatamente nell'ano te la c'è infilata di gusto.
Beh. La butti giù tu, Marchetto, li riesci, li vendi tu o...
Ah, fai tu, fai tu.
Alla visita dal dentista, questa pennetta dello scoiattolo viola, qualcosa di magico, qualcosa di droga. Tutto riparte, tutto rinizia, nella tua mente c'è solo abbastanza, dentro la penna c'è la sostanza di qualità, di qualità.
Missione completa.
Che siano... Erano tutte attaccate, sì. Aspetta che tiro su l'elevator, vediamo. Boh, andiamo a vedere the vendor sta roba.
Beh dai, 3 ore che sbaglio, abbiamo messo.
Va bene ragazzi, allora io chiudo qui la live. Adesso andiamo a vendere quello che abbiamo fatto. Casomai la prossima volta, se voi avete la curiosità, vi diciamo quanto siamo riusciti a fare in una serata guardando il CitizenCon. E niente, ci si becca probabilmente la prossima settimana. Grazie a tutti, ciao ragazzi e buona serata ancora. Ciao ciao ciao
Ciao a
ciao.
tutti, buona
Ciao.
serata, buonanotte.
Tutto riparte, tutto rinizia, nella tua mente c'è solo fattanza, dentro la penna c'è la
Vabbè.
sostanza di qualità, di qualità. Ridi pagliaccio sulla nave di merda stai, ridi perché sai che
sono le nostre lacrime, tranquilla.
ridi di questa giornata funesta in tempesta che sovrasta la vista della
La gente non si scandalizza.
Ultimo il momento eterno che l'inferno anticipa, quell'ultimo sospiro che dura una vita tipica, fatta di eccessi, scorribande, pulirsi le mutande, fatta di guerre, uccisioni e visite urologiche ai coglioni. Tutto riparte, tutto rinizia, nella tua mente c'è solo abbastanza, dentro la penna c'è la sostanza di
Ah, bellina, sarà una cazzo.
ti fermi a pensare che